Welcome back to Getting Worked. It is Jared, my boy Ian. How the hell
What's going
things
on?
going, man? Oh, dude,
Doing good.
it's Friday. I'm just,
Yeah,
it's just glad it's
Ugh,
Friday.
for sure. I am with you. I am so with you.
it's
It is
it,
definitely the weekend.
it
And
should
drink for that.
sound
Yeah.
cliche. Yeah,
Yeah.
cheers. Um, it should sound cliche, but it's just sometimes it's just true. And this week it is true.
No, I totally understand. So this week we're heading into I won't say it yet. I won't say it yet, but we're gonna start with Dynamite tonight, right? But
Yeah. We'll go over this week's Dynamite, and there's a kind of I heard there might be a little something going on this weekend. I heard some buzzing. There
there
might be a
was
couple
something else.
shows
Is it a wrestling
going on this
thing? I don't
weekend.
know.
Yeah,
It's hard
couple.
hard to keep up these days.
I tell you, it
Yeah,
really
some
is.
little
It really
wrestling,
is.
some little show I think is
Yeah, some small
coming
town
up.
kind of event going on. Some folks
One of
doing
these
some stuff.
territorial things, you know how it goes.
Yeah. These indie. But
It is indie promotions and stuff.
I tell you. But yeah, first things we'll talk a little bit about AEW's Dynamite. Um, I think all in all wasn't a bad show. I think it'd have been hard to top last week's just
Sure.
for all the stuff they packed into last week's Dynamite.
Right.
This would have
Right.
been tough. But I think all in all it wasn't terrible. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't terrible.
No, not terrible.
Not terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible. Let's see. So I'm trying to remember
Shout out
what
Charles
was
Barkley.
the. Oh, I know. Very bad impersonation of Charles Barkley. Um. All right. Let's see. So what? Okay. So remind me, how did this thing start off? Is that the
It
Hangman
kicked off
page?
with Hangman. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hangman
Hangman and
was
Max
and
Caster.
Max Caster where
The
they kind of kicked off the show. They kicked off the show.
the old school
And
John Cena wannabe.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. I mean, all gimmicks. There are very few gimmicks that have not been done ever.
Sure.
He does a
Sure.
pretty good job of
It
it.
actually isn't bad. I mean,
For
he doesn't
him
plug
to
his
be able to come out
words.
and say any of those lines, AEW, they don't script everything, or even if they did script it, if he can just remember those lines while in that moment or the few minutes before you come out there, I think he does fine with it.
I mean, I thought Cena was able to come
Cena was
out.
never exactly fast. He was not a fast. Yeah,
No.
he wasn't getting out there really spitting fast, but no, it was he'd say a line and then he'd wait. They remember the next one, and they say that, and that's not to make fun. I mean, it's better than I would do out there, but that's
I always thought it was impressive that
it's interesting, it's funny, it can be kind of funny. I mean, Cena's was so.
But what I was going to say was I always thought it was impressive that Road Dogg would go out and he would say basically the same thing every single time, but even just doing that and not flubbing it.
Yes. Yeah, he would tweak it slightly depending on who, every so often he would get somebody that he was, talking about. But yeah, it was a match.
It was a match. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, Paige is good. He's maybe the future guy.
Right. I think
they need to figure out it seems like he's in limbo right now. That's the only way I can say that. He's in this weird limbo. So I hope that he gets.
Yeah, they need to do something with him.
Yeah,
because they have the whole elite kind of going their own direction, and then you have. I think Paige especially. I think with the Dark Order, and I think part of it is I think also just have a presence there after with everything that happened with Brody. They wanted to have somebody else in there that's had a big enough name there to kind of help, be in the mix. Although he was already they were already courting him already. So at least from that regard, it makes sense.
Sure.
But, I agree. I think they need to get him I think the big thing is that, they need to get, at the very least, say like the TNT title on a heel. So then he can kind of come into the mix with that potentially. We have Scorpio Sky going heel, and already going after the TNT title. So if they could work it out to where either him or whomever, although I thought Scorpio would have been a good TNT champ even as a face.
I think they have a lot of faces.
They need more. Yeah.
Especially SCU at this point. I don't know if I think are they just broken up? Are they?
It looks like it, without really clearly,
ending it. There was no end.
Yeah, it was just more Scorpio. Scorpio was pretty much kind of doing his own thing, and
which makes a lot of sense. I mean, it does make sense. Yeah,
because he's a star in the making.
His trajectory is doing this. The other two.
Oh sure.
Yeah,
they're
definitely passing.
Yeah, Frankie and Daniels both know kind of where they are. They've been holding down the tag team and some of the singles wrestling for quite a bit now.
I remember him in TNA. Yeah, I mean from ages when WCW was first going away. Yeah, that's when I remember them quite well. So.
Yeah, and Frankie proved
especially Daniels.
Yeah, and Frankie proved he could still go last week. So I mean,
sure.
I think they definitely, and the fact that they're, in their fifth, like I think Frankie might be just turning 50. I think Chris is a little bit older than him. So they're right around there. I think last I looked, he was 48, but that might have been. I think that was even last year. So. They're in that ballpark, and to be in that level of shape and still going the way they are, that's that's
impressive. For sure.
But yeah, I think this is a good chance to get Max Caster in on the singles bout. I believe his partner is injured, and so I think
I was thinking that's almost guaranteed what it is.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
So yeah, Page won. Big surprise there.
Right. It's what you expected. What you expected it to be. That's and yeah, Christopher Daniels is 51. Actually, Kazarian is my age. He's actually slightly younger than me. He's 43.
Oh, I thought he was okay.
I thought he was up there with no. He is 43, born in 1977. Good year. Yeah, 1977. I did not realize that. But yeah, so that gives you. But I mean, to still put that in perspective, Scorpio is not as much younger than him that I thought he was. I was thinking a 10-year, maybe 15-year gap between those two people, or at least between him and the older two. Scorpio's 38.
Well, I figured. See, I think I remember him looking him up and seeing that he was in his upper 30s. Mm-hmm. I just could have swore Frankie was the one I had off.
He must have been super young when he first got going then.
Oh yeah, because like I said, he was doing stuff in TNA. He was like Suicide, the first guy under the mask at Suicide, and I think that's a big thing too. Is they had him doing that gimmick for a while, so he really kind of got a lot of his in-ring time early under that whole. It wasn't even just a mask; it was a whole bodysuit kind of thing.
Oh yeah, right.
And so you couldn't really ever see what he looked like or anything like that. So I think, they can definitely go. I think So I think also now too to be able to let's get Scorpio freaking in the mix on something serious here, while you still,
Right.
figure you still might have maybe even, well, let's say he even has 10 years, that's great, but you don't want to rest on that.
No,
You
no,
got him in good
no, for
prime
sure.
years and everything like that, and he definitely, I'd say, yeah, I would have, I think to look at him, I would have pegged him more at like 33, something
Exactly.
like
I was
that,
thinking 35 or less. Yeah, I would have definitely put him in the same one. But anyhow, what I
Yeah,
was gonna say
yep.
that's yeah, it was a good match. And we'll look see what they do with Paige
Yeah.
from kind of moving forward.
They,
So then
they,
they interview. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say, the only other thing I was going to say is that Paige did a little bit of the Stone Cold thing. He got the beers out of the cooler and kind of started
Yeah.
tossing them around to people, and even gave it to a fan who I'm probably sure was a plant, but you never know.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was way too. Ex- he looked to it like he was expecting it too much.
Yeah, yeah. He
I
kind of
mean,
just happened to be in the right place at the right
yeah,
time.
right, yeah. If I mean, I can't speak for you, but if I was just standing there, even if I was like, yeah, celebrating with him, and somebody chucks a beer at me, yeah, my hand-eye coordination. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't catch it. I got hands,
It would have
but
been that ready. Yeah, that
I
guy
wouldn't have been
was.
that ready. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
There have been some surprise to it, like and some extra celebratory. He got awful close to him too, considering they still, are very socially distanced in
Right,
that area.
right.
He
Yeah,
got real close for there to be no security in the area.
yeah.
He may have been a real fan. I don't mean it like he wasn't a real fan, but he was clearly expecting to have a beer tossed to him. So, but they used to do that before as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Who was it? Who was it that used to do that? Was it Mox? Mox would come and drink somebody's beer.
I think
I
so.
thought
I,
I
th-
thought it was Mox.
I think I've seen him do that. Yeah,
Back in the
early
old days,
on.
back in the olden
Yeah.
times when there were people like crowds, I believe they were called, and people were really close to the wrestlers. It was strange.
Read it in the history books
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. You gotta look back. Yeah, look back at your history, kids. Yeah. So, fortunately, we're coming to the end of that. I'm so glad. Thank goodness. So,
Yep.
next was they did the interview. They interviewed the Death Triangle.
That triangle comes out. Yeah, it's been
Tony Schiavone.
interesting.
Tony Schiavone in the ring.
Well, and it's been interesting because we haven't really seen the three of these guys together. Mostly because recently it's been, I'm sorry, it's been the Lucha Brothers, which is Rey Fenix and Penta Zero Miedo, and Laredo Kid.
Yeah.
Those three have been doing trios matches the past couple of Dynamites, and so it almost kind of wondered if maybe they were just going to branch Pac off on his own, and then, which I
Well,
mean, he can do. But
sure. Well, I think what this is, I think we're starting to see with them a, and we'll probably start seeing this in wrestling just across the board. Storylines that were about a year old, year and a half old, that they were ready to break out because they had just started the Death Triangle thing before this
everything
last
went,
year
yeah,
has happened.
yeah,
And up until they were just kind of starting that, but then they had to scrap it. For one thing, Pac was over in England. That's where he lives, and he couldn't get back. So
yeah. What
he
are you
was
gonna do?
there,
Yeah,
and yeah, what you gonna do? So you couldn't have him. But I believe we're starting to get to that point. And when we start talking later on about that other promotion that is doing some little thing this weekend, I think that's sort of a lot of these old storylines are now they're like, oh hey, we had this, here we go, let's this is where we were kind of heading with that, as crowds start to ramp up and things like that. And I think that's where they're going with this, so
right,
which would be
right.
cool. They're a different group.
Yeah,
They should be, yeah.
yeah.
You did mention before before we got going, they did hold true. AEW did hold
The,
true
the
with
yeah,
their you don't want to get interviewed.
the interview rule is still very much in effect, especially
Still, yeah.
if it has to be an interview with someone standing there. And if
Yeah,
you do,
Shivani, the
you're
back room people, any of
yep,
those.
you're
Anybody else holding the microphone for you.
you are pretty much guaranteed to at least get interrupted, if not straight up jumped. And so I was looking at it. I was like, every single time somebody came out, and so the best friends with Cassidy and now Chris Statlander, who kind of all got together, kind of reunited when Trent returned last week.
Yeah.
They all came out and they showed some footage, I guess, to kind of draw everybody's memories, because I think, again, like you were saying, like it kind of goes to your point about the storylines, because they had the thing where Pac had put Orange in his like finishing submission hold, and so it makes sense that, you know, they're kind of revitalizing this rivalry, because now, especially, I think they pretty much, I'm sure there'll be buzzings of it, but for right now, at least, like last week, they were able to kind of put the cap on the whole Miro, and Kip Sabian thing, you know,
which is good. I'm kind of glad that's done.
And it was a nice storyline
It
for
was
them
good.
to do
It was fun.
while Trent was out, especially because then you could just have Orange and Chuck doing their thing with Miro and Kip without having to throw somebody in the mix. Yeah. I thought that wedding thing was pretty funny. And so, I mean, it's ebbed and flowed. Let's put it that way.
That's it. That's really it. But it's one of those. It's like, but it's run its course. And I think it. Okay, now let's move on. Let's see what Miro can really do. I think they need to get a good storyline. It's always fun to have him with the joking and the smiling and stuff like that. But
he needs to be, and like last week too, I think we got to see a bit more of the monster. You know, kind of more of that, even more of kind of like that old school Rusev from that other, you know, indie promotion. You know, but I mean, like that monster guy, he didn't even really talk hardly. It was just, you know, he was just in there just wrecking people, you know.
Sure.
Barefoot Rusev before he messed up his foot and started wearing boots. Like
right.
Old school Rusev, like would just start flat out waste people, you know.
I forgot about that. He was barefoot. You're absolutely right.
Yep. It was that Samba fighter, Russian Samba fighter, or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right.
But so yeah, I mean, again, so this is setting up. This is setting up for some stuff between the six of them. So I mean, and that makes sense. I think, you know, it's just a good way for them to start to piece that together. Again, I think you're right. I think this is picking up on where some certain things left off, and now gives them a run, and, you know, a good, like, true, like a good kind of trios kind of rivalry establishing this. And so we'll see what they do with it, you know. And so then, if I remember right, so I'm kind of like, because you just watched it to kind of review it to refresh your memory. So
because I had realized that I had watched the. It's rare that I'm truly watching it 100% live, and I jumped in. I jumped in about 30 or 40 minutes into the show, but watching it live. And so in my mind, I was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen it. I can remember everything." And I kind of doing the review of, you know, what was coming. I don't remember these matches. So yeah, the first couple of matches I hadn't seen until just now.
Right.
But yeah, after that was the Inner Circle. And so that's where the Inner Circle comes out with their own microphone. So they didn't get jumped.
Well, also like they
were talking about the pineapple.
But they were thinking about the cars. Had the thing with the vehicles. All
that was the very beginning. Black. That's true. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was the beginning of the show. They had the Marvel come out, and the all black vehicles are coming out in all black. It's the whole like back in black kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't really gone that long.
Yeah, no, not at all. They really weren't. Was it one episode basically? I think it was one
really, yeah. It
episode. I
was
think it's
1 week.
literally one
It was
episode.
1 week they were
Yeah.
gone, and that was it.
So yeah, but they are a different inner circle now. The business end of things has picked up.
Yeah, yeah.
And the place I want to start is Chris Jericho. I've been around for wrestling for his whole time, and I think back to Chris Jericho of where do you remember where he was right at the end of his WCW run? Where he was crying all the time. He would
Oh
always
yeah,
cry,
yeah.
and I want to say it was the not light heavyweight. What was it called? Cruiserweight title back then. He was literally crying, and he was the tears and everything like that. To see that guy go through the WWE, WWF, whatever it was at that point, the Y2J, and to be where he's at now, you can tell when he's dialed in, man.
Oh yeah.
He's that dude. He is that dude when he is dialed in, and he hadn't been the last few months. Like I can't say it any other way. I don't mean it like but he wasn't.
No.
He was being goofy and fun. This promo was Jericho right up there with a lot of his other promos. Some of his best stuff to me, anyhow.
Oh yeah.
He was funny, deadly serious, borderlining on a little goofy, borderlining on a little danger. Like he was as calculated as Jericho. You can see he is really dialed in for this portion of his character, and that's always good to see.
I think that, and even just kind of rolling back to last week's Dynamite, when they opened up the bathroom door and they were all standing there. Now, yeah, that look.
Yeah, he's just.
That could have just been another kind of more goofy. They could have still done the jump.
They could have. Yeah.
But they could have made it more of a goofy because, I mean, they're standing in the bathroom. But no, I mean, it was like as soon as you open the door, you see him standing there with the gloves and the baseball bat. Yeah, he's just, and there's no playtime's over, folks. This is real now, and we are and so I think, and then with this one, yeah, like you said, they're able to kind of mix in a nice bit of comedy. You touched on it. You're saying like something like problems with the pineapple.
Yeah,
he goes and whispers over. It's like, what was it? Oh, I mean Pinnacle. I mean,
yeah. If you haven't seen that, you definitely got to go watch that. That part was pretty funny, and he says it without breaking a smile. There's no. There's no moment of like, oh, haha, I was joking about that part. No, it was just like he legitimately thought their name was Pineapple, and he was still in that character of I'm pissed and I'm gonna, you're getting ready to get the steal a line from somebody, get these hands.
Yeah.
But that was still there, but it was those types of things. That's when Jericho's just at his best, and he says it, and he never breaks. There's no pause. There's no nothing. It's just on to the next. And he
still got it. But I mean, and just little things.
He's calling MJF. Go ahead.
Well, he starts off says, talking about how they'd made some mistakes, and he kind of started peppering in. It's like, okay, they're at the very least on its face trying to be a face team now. They're saying, we've made mistakes. Switch. And made mistakes, between the team, but more importantly, we've made mistakes. That it's like basically like that impacted you, the fans, for lack of a better word. And so we talked about that, but also then he started talking about like he just started going in on MJF, calling him his jerk off friend.
My jerk off.
It started to make fun of everything from MJF's haphazard spray tanning to the scarf
that he
to the
stole
like
from
that. It's
5 years ago.
It's like, yeah, I did that gimmick. He said something along the lines of, "Hey, I did that gimmick 5 years ago, man. Why are you stealing? Why are you stealing my shit? That's lame."
If you're so superior to me,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. You know,
He even threw in the my favorite part was he threw in. He said, "I have an old clipboard back there. Maybe you can add it to the
the
list
list of the gimmicks you stole from Le
of the
Champion.
gimmicks he stole from me." That was one part where even he had to have a little sheepish grin. He gives a little like, "You know
Yeah.
what I say." Yes, legally we can't say the list, but
I can
the
say
list
put it
is
on
different.
the list because you can't
Yeah,
quite copyright
right.
it.
I
You
can't
know,
quite copyright it.
yeah, I can't.
That other indie promotion.
Yeah, that other indie promotion can't quite go on through there. Talked about
Yeah.
it. Said it called Blanchard a third string horseman. Right,
That
just
was it.
somewhere between what was it? It was somewhere between someone and somewhere between Ole Anderson and Paul Roma. I was like,
Yeah, I
holy
forgot about
crap.
Which again, sorta, kinda, maybe. Okay, I can see that.
I mean, no, I
I-
mean he was. I'd say.
was he one
Yeah.
of the original? But
Oh.
we're gonna go as. Oh wait, hang on. I know where this is headed. We're gonna go way off the
We're not
side
gonna. We're not
tangent.
gonna go on a big spiel on it. What I will say is that yes, the original four were Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, Ole, and Arn Anderson. Those were the original four. So Tully. But it's like Rick, Tully, and Arn were really the prime three that were consistent.
The fourth guy always rotated in and out.
Right.
The fourth guy
Right.
was
Yeah, but it was always so. I mean, technically, what he's saying is not true, but just throwing in that joke of like somewhere between Ole Anderson and Paul Roma, who was in the Four Horsemen for like a second.
Sure.
It's just like
right.
Great. But FTR said, FTR, you're a great tag team. You know all that stuff. You guys are great, but I don't even know your names. Are you Dax? Are you Cash? Are you Axe? Are you Smash? But what else did he say? He said, Are you Dax? Are you Cash? Are you Axe? Are you Smash? Are you? And he went down some other. Oh my God! I wish I remembered now.
I can't. I'm trying to remember it now myself. But that was exactly the point. He went through all of them. He put again Chris Jericho on the mic. Hats off. He's too much fun. Too much fun. Yeah. That whole. If you have again one of those. If you didn't watch it, watch that part. If you don't watch anything else, that was probably one of the funnier parts. So. Anyhow, after that, Christian Cage again. Everybody's got to get that. This holds the form. Although this wasn't a bad one. This wasn't a bad interruption, but it did hold the form as far as an interruption. Christian Cage had someone holding a mic for him, so he was getting interviewed, and he was giving his just basically the standard promo, and he gets interrupted by.
Who I don't remember this one.
Do you remember? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, do you remember? I thought you had seen that one. He gets interrupted by Taz.
Oh, that's right. Because he wants to recruit him into Team Taz.
Right. So he gives him the offer. Says, "Hey, man, I'm not no pressure." And you can see Christian Cage at first, like, "Hey, come on, Taz. Okay, we know each other, but we're on TV right now, man. I can't do this."
I'm not sure. Yeah. And Taz doesn't even let him get a chance to answer. He's just like,
no, completely. He was like, "You sleep on it."
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw it out there. And so, yeah, he gets out of there. He didn't look like he was he didn't look like he was headed that direction.
No,
but
Christian wasn't buying or selling.
No,
going over to Team Taz at all.
No. I don't think he picked it up off the shelf.
No,
he's just, that's he just
saw what Taz was dropping, and it was just like,
here it is.
Yeah,
over there.
That's just gonna.
Don't move it.
Interview lady, don't trip on that when you walk out.
Pretty much. So you might want to watch.
That's just gonna stay.
He dropped something.
There.
He left it. Do you want that? No.
No.
You
okay.
can leave it. Okay. All right. So after
Um.
that, and this is where I came in on it originally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was Jurassic Express fighting going against Bear Country.
And this was
So
that kind of that cross promotion with the Godzilla versus Kong movie.
absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely AEW trying to sell some help some cross. I was gonna say cross
Yeah, I
contamination. That's not the
wonder. I'm
right
trying
one,
to think
but
of.
sort of.
I'm trying to remember because I don't know what um studio that's coming out of. I'm assuming that it's associated with Turner in some
Must be
form because
in some way, shape, or
TNT,
form.
like or they had some going
Surprisingly,
through
not that
TNT.
bad of a movie considering what it was. That
Yeah, I
was,
haven't seen it
I mean,
yet. It's one that I might even try and catch it this weekend because I get it. I know what I guess I kind of know what I'm expecting.
yeah. You're not going into that thinking, oh wow, this is gonna win. I always screw these up. Is it Oscars? Oscars for
The
movies, right?
Oscars are for movies.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. It's not gonna win Oscars.
yeah,
That's not what that movie. It's a monster movie.
right.
If you went to that monster movie expecting Gone with the Wind, that was on you.
Exactly.
That's on you.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
know better.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I mean, but
but
all in all, I
for
mean,
the monster movie era or grouping, absolutely, I thought it was a really good movie. I
yeah.
watched it. I didn't get bored throughout it. I was entertained. So yeah, are we not entertained?
Are
Yes,
we
yes, I
not
was.
entertained? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I was.
well, yeah, I think I said I think I'm gonna catch that sometime this weekend. I might do it because I'm gonna smoke some ribs sometime this weekend. I might toss that up while I've got that going.
Yeah,
You know,
that's awesome.
I got to put something on the smoker, man. It's just
I was gonna
weather's
say it
getting
has
warm.
been. Yeah,
Last weekend
Well-
wasn't like the best weather. I want to remember. Yeah, it wasn't the best. Well, no. Last weekend I did uh it's the weirdest word, a spatchcock chicken.
that is an odd word.
It is it's basically you cut out the backbone out of it and you just lay it flat.
Okay,
And you literally just lay it flat and you just season it up and then it makes it easier to grill.
gotcha.
To get the meat cooked even, and stuff like that. So
I'm with you.
actually,
Yeah, I've
it
seen
was
that.
the
I've
weekend
seen that.
before
Now that you say it.
that was kind of crappy. But
Right.
yeah, it's a weird word. I'll probably do that while I've got that going. And this match, I want to say this might have been one because I like you, I tend to watch it like I watched it last night, and I fast forwarded through some stuff, and I think this was one of the ones I fast forwarded a little bit. I would kind of fast forward. I catch something like, okay, that looks pretty cool. I'll catch that, and then kind of go through it, and it's a tag team match.
It was a tag team match. It was solid,
Sure,
pretty decent. Yeah. So
I think again,
nothing crazy. Yeah.
talking about guys that I think talking about like future of this stuff of AEW, maybe wrestling in general. Jungle Boy, that dude's got skills. The dude's got. I think he just needs to work a little bit on his. Oddly enough, given who his father is, a little bit more of his like comfortable, being
Acting?
more comfortable. Yeah,
Gotcha.
more comfortable on the mic, maybe. For folks who don't know, this is Jack Perry. He's the son of the late Luke Perry from 90210 fame and other stuff. And so, yeah, you would think that Jungle Boy would have maybe a little bit more. I'm sure he has it, but he just doesn't seem super comfortable with it.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
I think if he can build that up a little bit better, he's shown glimpses. So if he can build that up a little bit more, he might have something.
No.
And so then we have remind me if there's something else in between this, because then we have the Darby Allin JD Drake match.
Well, yeah. Before that, we have again. There was an interview happening, and so Sting.
Okay, this is when
was being interviewed.
Right.
Yeah, he was getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and yeah, they interrupted him.
Got like maybe. Did he even get to say anything?
But barely some words. There were some words, but I don't know that he said more than hi.
Right. Good
Jake
grief.
Roberts, your boy Jake Roberts showed up and told Sting to keep his mouth shut and all this stuff. And then Archer came out and was talking about how he should be a main eventer and stuff like that. And just, being the bad guys, that's what they were supposed to be. Except Sting kind of turned it on him
Yeah.
and was like, "Yeah, I agree with you. You should be." Like, what are we arguing? And you could see the two of them like, "Wait, what now? The what? The who? The what now?"
And Sting turned it
And
on
he was
Jake.
like,
He's like, Jake, help him. Like,
"Help him out.
get,
Yeah, he should be. You should be
yeah.
main eventing. You should be going after the top titles."
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake, make it happen.
He's like, go do it. Go take it. Go, just.
Yeah, go do it. Don't talk to me about it. What are you talking to me for? I don't have anything to do with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a title. Why are we talking? Why are we? Yeah. And honestly, he kind of has a point.
He does.
It was one of those. And it's rare that they bring the backroom stuff to the front.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was a time of like, you could almost see this whole conversation really happening behind the scenes.
Right.
I should be a main eventer. Oh yeah, you should be, but you're not because you haven't done X, Y, or Z.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see where they go with that. But
and I mean,
yeah.
the only reason why I can think they're talking to Sting is effectively saying that he wants to go after Darby, and so I mean, but it's not like Darby. The other thing too is, I mean, it's not Darby's similar to John Moxley in the sense that you don't have to look hard if you want to fight. You don't have to even pick a fight. You just say you want to fight. That's it.
I want to fight you. Okay.
That's it. Darby will oblige.
The TNT Championship. He's going to be there every week.
Right.
So yeah, it's not the top guy that's going to be able to hide for a month.
Sure.
Or whatever it is.
Well, in a lot of cases too, and this is what they've been doing, which kind of rolls back to some of the more the old school style, is that in a lot of cases it's like when Moxley had it, he had the matches in Japan at the same time. I think now they have Kenny with it. Now he's going to TNA. I guess it's now technically Impact Wrestling now.
Sure.
So they have the champion kind of traveling and kind of representing the company in like the other promotions and quoting, like what would be the territories. And you have that mid-card belt be the one that, the fans would get to see, fairly consistently, even if not every week, at least probably like every other week or so, get defended. And, so they can still have that. And it's kind of what the belt was made for. Those mid-card belts were there for. So then it's like, okay, well, we'll have, Moxley's got stuff in Japan. All right, cool. Well, we'll put the belt on you. We'll send you over to Japan. You'll have it. You'll represent our company, do all this stuff. And then, because I think he also had a New Japan belt. I don't know if he still has it. I don't remember. But then also, Kenny had a AAA belt from Mexico for a while.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did.
When he was doing that, like I think he had that
when he was belt
the tag. Yeah, he had like the tag belts or whatever. I think he had that during that time, or maybe. I don't follow that stuff as much as I used to. But But now again, it is kind of a way, and I think this kind of see what this is Cody's influence and indirectly from his old man Dusty booking a lot of the territory stuff back in the day, and you can kind of see a lot of that stuff where you see that. I mean, Ric Flair would travel around.
Oh yeah, just here's my belt.
Yeah, I mean, just and in certain ways make other guys look good, and then maybe sometimes coming in and then making as a champion looking good himself. And, and say, like have these kind of non-title belts, but it was basically
get more eyes on it. Yeah.
And you can get losses because it was in some other promotion. It wouldn't really be for that belt. But then if it was, he was pretty much, not always, but more than likely the champ was going to win.
Sure. Yeah, it was very rarely that it was going to could turn. You're right. It's
change
not going to turn
hands in
change
some other
hands
promotion
in
unless it
some house
was.
show. Right.
But and basically what it would be is it would be a plan. If it did happen, then the whole plan would be to bring whoever that was over to the home promotion for that belt anyway, and so they would use that as a way to write that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Flair would turn around and win it back. That's why he's like 16-time champion, because he kept going back.
He would always get it back.
Yeah.
Right.
But this was a good one. So again, I think
Darby and DJ Drake end up battling.
JD Drake.
Yeah.
This is my first time seeing this guy actually wrestling. He was in Cesar Bononi's corner along with Ryan Nemeth last week, but this is my first time seeing this guy wrestle. Again, kind of a bit of a throwback guy. More of kind of an old school bruiser type, not, nothing too fancy.
He was nothing fancy at all. He had some Brooklyn brawler to him.
To
be honest with you.
Yeah.
And actually just before that, I was just remembered. Just before that, there was they continued the slight descent. This was super short, little backstage thing with Taz group.
Oh, the Team Taz
and
thing.
A little bit of descent between Starks and Cage. Still a little bit of, and Taz told him, he was like, Starks was trying to
instigate
stuff, and he was like, well, we'll hear from Brian Cage tonight. We won last night, but we're gonna hear from Chris.
Brian Cage. That's right.
Brian Cage.
The guy that won. Right. That's right.
Yeah, he was like, we'll hear from him, and that's when Taz jumped in. He's like, you need to stop instigating. But so a little bit of dissent, but that's kind of one of those. That's clearly a future thing.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's when Darby and JD Drake, they had the fight. Yeah, it was a match. It was also there.
Sure.
Yeah. Sting at one point runs off. The ones that were with JD, it was Ryan Nesmith.
Ryan Nemeth. Yeah. He kind of walked him down with the bat and just sort of chased him off.
And that's what's his name's brother?
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because briefly I saw him, I was like, oh wait, that's right.
You can see it. Like,
because they especially when he's yelling, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's Dolph.
Yeah.
So at the end of that match was over. It was a clean win. Coffin drop for the win. And then out came Butcher and the Blade and Matt Hardy.
Yeah, they jumped Private Party. Private Party was out there for a bit.
Well.
Yeah.
And then they got cut off. Dark Order came out with the save.
And so they set things up here with this, because then they had the Buddy going over to the announce table telling them all to clear everything off of there, because they were gonna probably
put
Darby through the thing, and so they were doing that, and so I guess the announcers were basically just not listening to her the whole time. And so then, and she's basically
separate.
And she's just not paying attention to anything that's going on, just yelling at him, why aren't you taking the stuff off the tables, and da-da-da-da-da. And so then, effectively, after Dark Order and Sting chased them off, they turn around, and it's basically the entire Dark Order, including Tay Conti, and they had a match set up for the later, and and so then she basically did who's a I believe a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the go-to for MMA fighters right now.
Of course,
and so
she's a hot Brazilian. So
hey, but she's also she's been kind of partnering out with now I knew I would lose the name. What's her name? She's been with Dark Order. She's been wrestling with them.
Yeah, she has been. Not
Kay,
Rose.
Anna Kay. Anna Kay.
Yeah.
And I think she has a hurt shoulder right now. So Tay is sort of filling that role. of Anna Kay's spot in the Dark Order. It was always like she was more loosely associated with them because it was more that she was Anna Kay's friend. She wasn't necessarily Anna J. That's it. Anna J.
That's it. Yeah, J. Yes.
She was Anna's friend, not really directly associated with the Dark Order, but just sort of kind of in the mix. But now that Anna's hurt, Tay's pretty much filling that spot. So then they were able to basically lead it up to effectively kind of do the lead up to the match between Tay and the Bunny, which but yeah, this is what it was. It was basically a match to kind of help defend the TNT title. There's no threat of JD Drake winning this thing off of Darby. It was a good way to kind of throw, because you have a match coming up between Matt Hardy and Darby, so this is able to put that into the mix. And be able to kind of help stir up that pot between them. And then, and it's just, kind of allowing his, what was like that big money Matt gimmick to gain a little traction,
I still say that's going down the. I'm waiting for crowds to get back in the arenas because that clearly is what they're waiting for with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're clearly waiting on something that's been building for a while. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where that goes. But anyhow, after that, it kind of got off. They went to commercial and then they came back and threw the vignette of the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. They put the vignette of them. Yeah. In there next. And then after that, it was, I think Chris Jericho was back out. Was Jericho getting interviewed?
I think so.
He was. Yeah, he's getting interviewed because again, it holds he was getting interviewed backstage, and he gets attacked by MJF and the Pinnacle. Yeah. So that was that part. Yeah. So they come in, they get jumped.
And this time I will say at least this much for this: it was MJF that actually dove in first. Like he was the first person you saw.
Yes.
So that was an interesting thing there because
which is unusual for sure.
Yeah. Oh, one thing we didn't say after with the Inner Circle interview is that that Jericho mentioned Blood and Guts.
Yes. Yeah.
Which they've been talking about doing for a while, and it's just
again one of those scrapped ideas they had to put on the shelf. Because it was going to be the Elite versus Inner Circle actually back then.
Yes, it was.
Right.
And so now Blood and Guts is official. It's going to be one of those weird things where they're not going to be doing a pay-per-view. They're just going to do it on what is Dynamite. They're going to do basically sort of like these mini pay-per-view type themed versions of the shows. But they're going to have Blood and Guts, whatever that entails, on there. But so the action goes out to the ring, and
so it's an assault. I mean, it's all of them. The Inner Circle is nowhere to be found.
Well, they were locked in
I was going to say they're nowhere to be found at the time, and then they bring them out, just kind of set the scene. So they're beating Jericho in the middle of the ring. You keep waiting for the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
And of course, camera goes in the back, and the Inner Circle is locked in the dressing room that they kicked everybody out of last week.
Right.
So, and of course, when you get there, they're busting through the door.
Yeah.
Get out. And then but they're not at the ring. I mean, Jericho needs them then, and they're not there.
Right.
And then some music hits, and out comes
Mr. Punch Out himself.
Yeah.
Iron Mike Tyson.
Yeah, there was a throwback to was it 97 with
Yeah.
DX. Yeah, Mike Tyson. Going with Mike Tyson, he comes out, roughs him up a little bit, uh, which is funny because him and Jericho, the last time they were out together, he was punching at Jericho, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, he was involved with an AEW thing,
Mhm.
and he was actually against Jericho at the time. I think he was with the Elite. I think that, again, it might have been part of the initial lead up to Blood and Guts. And so they're
Really think it
basically just
was.
like, okay, now we can do this thing. Let's
Here's the contract. Okay, well, we still have it. Come on,
yeah,
Mike.
let's just do
You doing
this.
anything this weekend? Come on out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He comes, he rips off the shirt. However old Mike is, he's still
Oh,
baddest
he's
man on the planet. I
no
mean,
doubt.
that's yeah. There's a reason he's called that. He's mega shape. He actually looked in pretty good shape. He does the one part that I thought was hilarious was just where he was just about to dive and he almost falls out the ring. But that was and then of course about that time he beats up everybody, kicks them out the ring, and then the inner circle show up
Yeah.
around that time. So that was good. That was actually that was a cool
I think
kind of
so. And
point.
it
Yeah.
helped to make sense. It kind of helped to, like, it's like a surprise that Tyson's out there, but it's like, okay, well, you have Jericho's boys, locked in, basically busting through the door with a baseball bat,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and so Tyson just happens to be there, I guess, and just,
It's like, you know what? Let's make this
let's
happen.
let's fix this. Yeah. So
Yeah, this is broke. We're gonna
pretty-
fix this. It was really good. It was good to see. Yeah, anytime Tyson's on wrestling, it's always fun. So
and again, I
yeah,
think, Tyson, and again, I think it's another move to help indirectly, but directly demonstrate that Jericho is now a face now, because Tyson's
Yeah.
definitely coming in kind of more of a face move,
sure.
and Jericho.
Well, they came out even came out the faces tunnel.
Sure. Well, yeah,
AEW's
exactly.
real big on
Yeah.
doing that too. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
after that was when the Bunny and Tay Conti, where they had their fight again.
I can't.
It was a
complain.
match. Yeah, I can't complain. It was hot Brazilian fighting a hot blonde. So
Pretty much. Yeah.
I
What
know
are you
that's
gonna do?
horrible, and I apologize for all of that. But hey, it's just what it is.
It's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it is what it is. I think, they're building up Conti, getting her with some wins under her belt against some, names. The women's division's just not strong enough, and it's kind of where it kind of makes this match not as palpable as it could
Sure.
have been.
And that's what it lacked, to be honest with you. It was like, oh, okay, it was a solid enough match.
Yeah, and I think they both put in a good showing. Bunny, for folks who don't know, wrestled as Allie in TNA/Impact Wrestling prior to coming over to AEW. A decent wrestler. They haven't really seen her wrestling very much. What I did see, I think I think they both did a good job. And so I think that, they kind of help to build it up, but they really do need to do something with the women's division. Get some other names in there. Again, we talked about this before. The NWA inclusion with like Serena D, Thunder Rosa especially has helped. But
yeah,
they need to do something with it.
Right, exactly. Outside of two people, basically, you
It's
kind of
tough.
don't have the others aren't established enough. So, and you can tell they're green, even with their matches. They're a little slow. It's a little So, after that match is the oh, that's right. That was for next week. After that match was the main event.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just double checking with you because all I have in front of me are the match results. I don't have all the
Yeah,
stuff in between.
I was trying to run. Literally was running through it just then. It always seems like there was someone in between these two, but it's not. It's
Okay.
they just run through the updates and stuff like that, or for next week, the promos for next week.
Sure.
But yeah, at that point they have the Young Bucks. Young Bucks are coming out, and they're teaming, of course, with Mox.
Right.
And so it's the three of them versus the
Good Brothers.
the Evil Three.
Yeah, Good Brothers and Kenny Omega. Yeah.
And Kenny Omega. So, what did you think of this match?
So, I think that all in all, I think if anything else is just as a way to tell a story, I think they did a pretty good job.
Without jumping to the end.
I'm not going to jump to the end.
Jumping to the end.
But I mean, I think as far as like a way of telling a story, I think they did a pretty good job at this match. Otherwise, I think, you know, everyone got their stuff in.
That's it. True.
You know, Good Brothers got some a couple magic killers in. Moxley got stuff in. I mean, basically everybody got some semblance of their stuff in. You know, that made sense roughly for everything. And so, you know, all in all, I think it worked out pretty well. But basically, it got to a point, you know, throughout the match where you could tell that the Young Bucks were really holding back anytime they were going up against Kenny.
Yeah. And it was only Kenny. I mean, they were hitting everything else.
Yep.
But they went for, and I apologize for not knowing their moves by name. The one where they both hold his arms and they hold him out.
So
to do
that's what they call the BTE trigger. It's basically, so Kenny has, and I think it's from the V trigger, which I think is like a mechanic of like a Street Fighter game, one of the Street Fighter games, where you basically apply your V trigger, which then gives you special moves and everything. And so he names it after that. And then the Young Bucks basically took a double team version of that, which they call the BTE trigger. And then when they would do trios match with Omega, they'd always have like a 3-man version of it. Got it. So, but it's just basically that high knee kind of thing.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so go ahead.
They taunt Matt through the whole thing. I mean, they start off by taunting Matt. And they go from there. But yeah, at one point near the probably 3/4 of the way in, that you see there's a problem. The Young Bucks are having a real problem with beating Omega, and they have him many times.
Yeah,
many
dead
times.
to rights, pretty much. Yeah. And I think that, and I think the other thing to point out here too is that you have Don Callis on commentary, and so he's in there, you know, kind of throwing in his jabs. Like even early on when he got up there, he's like, "Oh yeah, see, Matt still. I heard he had a broken jaw or something like that. He's like still like some like he's just
because he smacked him last week in the jaw. And
yeah.
Just cranking every time Kenny would wail on them. It was no big deal, but of course, if they did anything to Kenny, it was just, how could you hit your friend? That's
exactly.
Your friend. How could you do it? Oh, it was so terrible.
Oh, but then when they wouldn't, he would also like give him crap, like he would kind of like, oh, you're like just kind of almost kind of make it
don't
sound
act
like
this way now because it's because of you we're out here right
now. Exactly, and kind of almost egging them even still. And it's kind of like, okay, what side of the game are you playing here, Don? Because it's kind of, you know, so and obviously Moxley's getting like just livid.
Well, Mox is like, what are we doing here? Mox he's a fighter. He doesn't really care who's in front of him, even if it's friends. I mean, if it was shoot, I always
Well, he did
drop his name.
Eddie Kingston. You know, when he
Kingston.
fought
If
Kingston.
it was
Yeah,
Kingston, yeah, that's his buddy.
it's a match. It's a match. Yeah,
It's a match. Is match. You're the
yeah.
opponent.
Yep.
And at some point he comes in and finally goes, "This is how you do it." He paradigm shifts.
Yeah, I think a couple times.
A couple of times in a row, turns around to him again. You see, we pick him up. We do this. Oh, bam! You idiots! What's wrong? Have y'all forgotten how this works?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah. So yeah, he does that until I'll let you.
So Moxley drops 2 paradigm shifts on Omega, and then he was going to set up a third one, and that's when finally the Young Bucks both super kick him, and
they couldn't.
Then it's basically Good Brothers come out after that, and then even a limping hop along Eddie Kingston comes out there,
tries to come out.
He's basically hopping on his good foot, just kind of going through, and so then the Good Brothers get him and drop the Magic Killer. No, I'm sorry, they basically take out Kingston. They drop the Magic Killer on Moxley, and then basically get Kenny out of the way, and so really the way then ended up just bowling down. I can't remember all the different little hits and of it after that, but effectively way boiled down to was they hit Moxley one more time at being egged on by Omega and Good Brothers and Callis, and so then they basically have sort of the celebration, as it were. I guess the interesting point from a story perspective here is that they wanted.
It was a celebration, but not
exactly. And so they wanted the Bucks to too sweet them. They still wouldn't do that, but Matt Jack basically just kind of brought him in for a hug, and then that was it. And so it was kind of bitter from everyone else other than the Bucks. They were riding high, but as far as the Bucks were concerned, you could tell that they were still very torn as far as how they
part of this.
Yeah.
This was clearly you're going along with your friend because he's your friend, but he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. It's that whatever that is, if he's running around on his girlfriend or whatever, and it's your boy, that's your girl or whatever, and
right,
you're going along with him, but this isn't the way it should be, and that's what you saw. So I actually kind of like this storyline a little bit better. It does harken back to some of the older wrestling type of storylines, which is what I enjoyed, the more the 90s storylines type of deal, the friends. And go ahead.
I just think, especially with this coming in, if they really want to add some more complexity to the story, this could be, we were talking about Hangman kind of maybe going in more like on the TNT title, but what if he goes in after the world title here?
And becomes that,
and kind of really comes into the mix here, because he's like, okay, well, whatever's going on with the Bucks, fine, whatever, but I had already separated myself from them, and regardless of what they were doing before, I know he ain't acting right now,
right?
And so whatever qualms I may have had about going after the title and Kenny and everything, there really is no reason for me not to right now, the way he's acting up. So that could be another interesting take on it, because you got Mox. You figure Mox is probably going to be popping off for a bit, because he's got a baby coming.
Yeah.
Cody, well, he can't technically go after the world title anyway, but
Sure.
he's gonna disappear. So it's like a lot of those story arcs there with Kenny's gonna kind of drop off. So it might make sense to put Hangman in the mix.
Give him his shot in the bright light,
Yeah,
the brightest of the lights. Give him a
yeah,
shot. And then that even leads into a storyline. It's not like, Mox and it's not like the two of them basically they will not be having the baby. So they will be able, they're healthy.
sure.
Yeah. So they won't, they will take some time off, but it's not like they can't pop in for a show or something like
Well,
that
and
here and
yeah, and
there
they
in a
all
few months.
live
Right.
around
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
right now,
Sure.
so
Sure.
that
Yeah.
wouldn't be impossible. But yeah, I think this would be an interesting chance to, if Hangman Page, who's been pretty much just collecting wins left and right,
But
and
but
so
not related to kind of anything at the time. Yeah.
no, it's just kind of all doing his own thing. And
Right.
so I think, but yeah, I think all in all, I think they've been able to kind of help sort of set up some things for later, for the weeks to come. Had a pretty decent tie off on the story beats that hit from last week. Oh, you know what? One thing we didn't mention,
What's that?
QT Marshall and the
Oh, right. Yeah.
Nightmare Factory, or whatever they're going to
Yes.
call it, because
Whatever they're called.
it's not going to be sure right now. But I actually think
Right.
he put together a pretty good promo. You could tell it was, it was back. I guess it was supposed to be at the factory where they do the training and all this, and it's him and his guys, and he was kind of talking about all the different people. They let a go speak a little bit. I didn't know he was British.
No, I didn't either until you started
but
talking.
he's still
In fact, it was almost like they said, we have to let you talk so everyone knows you're British. That was sort of that whole moment was, oh no, he's really British. That's not an act. That's not a fake.
The
put
fact
on something.
the fact that he's an Olympic boxer, so he's legit in that way. He looks legit.
He's clearly in commercials over there and things like that.
Yeah. So, but I think QT put together some good runs. He said, "What, you surround yourself with a bunch of vanilla midgets."
That was the
like,
best line.
Wow,
I love that line.
Because like
that was the best line.
that word in some circles doesn't. So they let that one go, and then what? And he talked about like the face paint and everything. Called him a bargain bin Sting.
Yeah,
I was like, holy crap!
There were all parts of this that were hilarious.
QT's holding
great.
No punches.
Nothing.
He is just.
These are all options that I can punch with. I can hit you with any of these. I have a bag and I'm pulling all of them out. Yeah, that was bargain basement Sting.
Go, back there,
surrounding
like,
yourself with a bunch of vanilla midgets.
Ted Jr.'s lackey or something like that. He was talking about when he was with the kind of that. I can't remember what they were calling. They were calling themselves, but it was basically just that group of all second generation wrestlers with Ted DiBiase Jr. and all those guys.
Not the elite. Shoot, what were they called? They were the.
Wasn't Evolution. Legacy. It was Legacy.
Yeah.
And so he jabbed him on that, jabbed him on the face paint, just really just went to the jugular
just
again
all of them.
And again.
I'm gonna hit you with all of these. Every one of these are just things I can hit you with.
Second best promo after Jericho this week. I mean, really.
Oh, absolutely.
Really put something together here. I mean. And so I definitely, I'm glad I remembered that one, because I think
good call.
They're really trying to build this up and build QT up into something, and actually doing something with this character, which they really hadn't been doing. So, and again, they're able to use that. They're using that as part of the story. So that's another great thing about it, because they're basically saying, he hasn't been on. He's been doing his stuff in the back. According to him, outside of the time he was running around with the bunny for like no reason, and it never made sense. But,
no whatsoever.
don't know what they were going to do
Yeah.
there. But yeah, so I think all in all, I think it was a pretty good show, especially after having to follow last week, which was on fire comparatively to a lot of the weeks
Completely.
here recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give it to them. Hopefully, they can start to build on this momentum and start to put together some shows. If they can put together shows even like this one consistently,
This was,
you know
yeah,
what?
this
I'll
was a
take
very
it.
good
I'll
show.
take it.
There was a lot of stuff that happened. I mean,
Yeah.
the Young Bucks quasi turning heel and stuff like that at the end. That's a good show. Anytime you kind of have those big twists in the middle, and it wasn't like you had to wait until the end to get that. Oh, okay, I had to wait 2 hours to get to this point, and then okay, something happened.
Definitely
It was
had a
little
lot.
things all the way
Definitely had
through.
enough filling in. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really again good solid show.
Yep.
Dynamite tends to produce those. So
Yep.
all right. So before we go to that other little indie thing that's happening this weekend, which we're obviously joking about.
Sure.
Maybe we'll take a quick pause.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, we'll take a little pause for the cause, and then we'll talk about that little shindig going on.
Yeah,
this weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe there might be something to talk about. I don't know.
I hope people have heard of it. I hope people have heard of it.
So too.
It's a little something. It's a little something this weekend.
Yeah, we'll be back in a bit.
Quick break. Yep. Back in a bit.
Of night, we live to die. We lose our souls every day. We lost our minds. We don't remember what's wrong and what's right. That's right. The world is dead, but we stay. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surround. We are just shadows. It's supposed to be that we die. It doesn't matter if there is no light anymore, no light anymore. 'Cause we are born as living fights. We live to die. We live to die. And we surrounded by the night. We live to die. We are shadows in the neon light. We are shadows in the neon light. When I'm up through the night, I can't turn down the noise, tear all the words out of my mind. About who I'm supposed to be, I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Maybe my compass was wrong, and I'm still on my way closer each day to where I belong. I'm still rolling the dice, praying sometimes it don't last that long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon.
Tell me like a Hellcat.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, looky here. Look at this.
Figure out. Go ahead and break this out.
Yeah, like I said, I still got. We both have one. I gotta
Yeah.
find mine. I didn't know he was pulling that out on us.
Yeah.
I gotta go find mine. That's been what?
It's been a while. Jared got these for us,
2000.
so. Man, it has been a while. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to remember how long ago it was.
Was that like 2015?
Yeah.
It was after I moved to Idaho. And it was like my first time back.
Time coming back. So, yeah. But
It's been a bit.
Yeah,
So-
it has.
So I think, I think we got a couple of pay-per-view shows going on this weekend.
We do. It is WrestleMania weekend.
On the
Hyped.
Yeah. It's weird. I should be more hyped than I am.
Honestly,
I really should
agree.
be.
That's why I said it that way. Honestly, that is exactly why I said it that way. It's surreal. It's not as surreal as it was last year by any stretch, but it's still. There was a build for it. I mean, maybe it's just me, but it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It's still that moment. The Super Bowl of wrestling, all of those innuendos. If I had a sign to point out, I would do it so that because that's what you're supposed to do in wrestling.
Oh yeah, you got to point at the sign.
So.
You got to point at the sign even if it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just I was scrolling through the card for basically, and so again, for folks who may not have been knowing, like who may be interested in watching WrestleMania, there's a few things that are actually different this time around, and even just not just COVID, but the format's different in the sense that it's spread across two nights, one for Raw, one for SmackDown, and also the fact that it's now moved to the Peacock network, which is NBC's streaming service. And since it's interesting too that they're doing it like that, because I know about the association with USA, but they're also associated with Fox for SmackDown, but they're moving the entire streaming platform over to Peacock.
Yeah, at least here in the U.S.
Yeah, true. That's a good point, because I'm not sure how it's all going to be handled before, but I'm sure. I mean, again, like anything else, you're probably just going to just follow the money,
Yeah, I think the WWE Network is still live overseas. Well, I say overseas. Not everything is overseas.
But overseas compared to the U.S.
Outside of the U.S.
Yep.
That's what it kind of comes down to. Which
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I don't know how I feel about the Peacock owning that yet. I was enjoying being able to watch some old Raw from the Attitude Era and things like that. I was watching, some DX from like 97, 98.
Sure. And they've already...
That's not there.
No, yeah, they've already censored quite a bit of the stuff.
They're censoring a bunch of... And that's not even the censored part.
Right.
It's just not there.
It's just the whole show. It's not... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't have most of the content loaded up there. And then, the editing of history is always a little dicey. So...
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I mean,
some things need to go. Don't get me wrong, but
sure.
I mean, if you're a wrestling fan and you're going back watching that stuff, you sort of know what you're getting into. But,
right, and so that's the trade-off. There is that NBC will have a lot more leverage in terms of what will get
content from the past.
Content will be included. Yep.
Yeah, it would be hilarious being that person. I would love to know who it is that has to go and sit and watch all the old, think of every single clip every single show, every single paper, every single everything about past WWF at least events, because it couldn't be a wrestling person, because it would probably be a little slanted, like, oh, that's just wrestling, we're good, we can keep that on. So it's probably
Sure.
somebody that doesn't watch wrestling. It would it'd be interesting to be the person, or be a fly on the wall watching that person sit there and watch DX, or the stuff that goes on. We for those of us who were there for the Attitude Era, the stuff that went on during the Attitude Era. If you're not a wrestling person, it would just be hilarious watching the reaction, like, oh, okay, who? I don't understand. Why does Sean have the Canadian flag in his nose? That doesn't make sense. That's awful. That's not nice.
No, it's not. No, that's the point.
That's the point. Yeah.
That's called getting heat, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
So I think
Goldust would be amusing to see. Like the first time Goldust rolls down to the ring.
There's just so much.
Yeah. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not even going to get into any of that. But
puppies.
Anyhow, huh?
Puppies.
Oh, for sure.
Wouldn't.
Yeah. King just yelling puppies.
Yeah, why,
at the top of his voice and the highest
doesn't like
voice.
puppies? Well, yeah. Once you understand the context, you could see where maybe this isn't going to work out.
Yeah.
My only thought here is that, so I can't see. I don't know how the contract is written up and how the agreement is architected here, but the only thing I can think of is that the WWE decided that they didn't want to maintain the overhead of the WWE network, because right now, the way Peacock, and I'm sure this will go up later, but right now Peacock has 2 tiers. It's $4.99 a month with commercials, $9.99 a month without commercials.
Sure.
Which is the same price that the WWE network was running.
Well, yeah, this is basically, I think, and we're going to jump into, let's just kind of get away from talking about the business side of it.
Sure.
But, what we have, it's basically they got a big check that was written, and, WWE does not turn down money. And I don't blame them. Good for them.
Sure.
So they got a big check written, and they said, you know what? We're good with that. Let's do that. So that's obviously, I don't have any insider information on that. I am just going straight business side. That's usually how these things go down. They built up a product internally, and then they sold it off to the highest bidder. Mazel tov. Good job. That's what you're supposed to do in business. So,
right.
Yeah. So, anyhow, first match. Which one do you want to go with?
So, we're going to start with night one match. At least what appears to be the first match listed on the card. The top match is a WWE Championship, Bob Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. They've been building up for this for a while. McIntyre come off with some, looking pretty strong after Elimination Chamber. Then the whole thing kind of started to get mixed up with Miz and the Money in the Bank thing. He cashed that in, and then Lashley challenged the Miz and he just destroyed him.
Yeah, right.
And so then, of course, McIntyre was trying to push to get into get a kind of a, not so much, it's kind of his rematch clause, but it was basically to Lashley in a way, because Lashley was the one to turn around and won it from Miz so quickly. And basically, McIntyre kept pushing, and then he won a handicap match against Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. So basically that so that they couldn't be ringside for WrestleMania, which, I mean, in a way kind of works out, because it's kind of funny because they've been kind of working this whole problems within the Hurt business.
Hurt business.
And I'm kind of wondering if they're. I was almost thinking if they had the stipulation that they can't be there anyway. They're technically banned from
They're
ringside.
banned. Right.
But what does that mean? Does that would just mean that Lashley would get disqualified and not lose the belt? So I'm almost wondering if they're trying to pull a swerve here with this.
Well, yeah, because technically the Hurt Business is no more. They broke up, right?
Right.
And so I believe the wording, and this is where I can't remember for sure, but if the wording was the Hurt Business cannot be at ringside, and there is no more.
There is
Hurt
no more
Business.
Hurt Business. You know what? Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I'm usually really good with parsing words. You know me well. Yeah, there's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And
Exactly.
the letter of the law says the Hurt Business, which doesn't exist anymore. We broke up last week.
Right.
I don't know. I that's my.
But the other thing
Jared stays a little bit more in reality when it comes to these things.
Well,
I like to go.
It depends. But that's what I was wondering. But I mean, I was kind of thinking from a different angle. Where okay, from a storyline perspective, they're saying, okay, yeah, we're breaking up, we're having these problems, and so yeah, we officially break up, and then, but the stipulation doesn't say that McIntyre gets the belt.
No.
It's just that Lashley
is barred from ringside.
Barred from ringside, and if they come out, it's basically a DQ. As we all know in wrestling,
as the Hurt Business. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, even if they were, I mean, let's say it had nothing to do with the Hurt Business. Let's say it's just Cedric and Shelton, technically, are banned from ringside, which means if they come out, it's a DQ. Lashley still retains the belt.
Because it's a DQ.
It's a DQ.
Belt doesn't change.
So in either scenario, though, I kind of like that one. I think it'd be more interesting if they played it off to where, like, yeah, I'd have to go back and listen to it, but like if the wording on it was if they were very, very careful to state that multiple times, that if the announcers never say Cedric and Shelton, no, it's Hurt Business can't be out there.
Yeah.
Then that's another potential twist they could throw at it. Yeah. That's I almost see that as a guarantee at that point. Yeah, where if it's very specifically saying Hurt Business, because otherwise, why wouldn't they just say Shelton and Cedric? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I have to go back and listen to that, because that's a good point, because they could. So in that way. Because I know we were talking about maybe doing some form of predictions here.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I was going to say, well, who's your pick? Ashley.
I think Lashley's.
Lashley
I'm thinking Lashley's going to retain here.
All right. So you don't think it's going to be the makeup for last year? Drew gets his pop in front of a live crowd.
See, I think that. Maybe, but the problem is that I don't see how Cedric and Sheldon don't get involved now.
I agree.
At some
you're in where so you're going down my.
I just don't see how they don't. And again, it would be one or the other, where basically they're able to. That loophole with quote unquote the Hurt Business, okay, fine. Sure. And they just miraculously get back together afterwards. That'd be a much better story. But this is WWE in 2021.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be that clever.
No.
And
in fact,
so
they do everything usually out of their way to not be that clever.
And so I'm almost thinking it might be something more along the lines of them getting involved. It's still a swerve on the whole Hurt Business breaking up.
Brock Lesnar comes back.
Oh, God, I hope not.
I'm telling you. That'd be my other one.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he does pop out, and regardless of who wins, and it's like that's mine.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, Lesnar comes out, and because of him and Lashley, they were both MMA
MMA
guys.
guys, yeah.
He comes out and attacks Lashley, hence disqualification. I don't
Sure.
know. That's the way out, far reaches of the insane area, but
Yeah.
it's WrestleMania, so the big guns.
Well,
If
this
there's
is
a
the
guy
thing.
that's
This
going to
is
show
this is the time for stuff like that to
time.
pop off. So it's not completely out of the vein. So I'm saying hook or by crook, Lashley retains.
I was going Lashley the whole way.
Okay.
It'd be a nice little story for Drew and stuff like that. But if you're gonna do that, just wait till next year. Give him a real crowd, a full on crowd, because the stadium's still not going to be packed.
And McIntyre has had his time with the belt during the whole COVID run and everything.
Sure.
So I agree in a sense. It's not like he hasn't had the gold for a while. So
and he did win it at last year's empty stadium WrestleMania, which not Drew McIntyre, but the person. I don't know what his real name is, but the person that he is, for that person that has worked his butt off to get to where he is and gets to the top of his profession, that chance that he has to hold that belt up and have the crowd react to him as a face and being the champ, having that moment, he unfortunately he didn't get. So, and that sucks. That's from a personal standpoint, that of course that sucks. But yeah, I think Lashley's going to win. I think, by hook or by crook, perfect way to say it. Lashley was going to be the one I picked. So anyhow,
so
what's
the
next
one on the list I see, and again, I don't know if this is order of the matches or it's just more order of the card.
We're just gonna go. That's exactly why I keep saying your list. Just for anyone that's watching it, I keep saying Jared's list just because we both have lists. But we can't tell which ones,
they're not necessarily
in what order and stuff like that. So we figure this is the easiest way to say.
So this one is for the women's champion, SmackDown women. Now this is weird. This is SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yes.
So maybe it's not. Maybe Bianca. This isn't broken up by SmackDown and Raw, because isn't
no. Though you mean night versus
night? Night. Okay. No. Okay.
Absolutely not. It's
weird.
A mix.
Okay. All right.
Which is good because I agree. The one time, it's one company. Well, this is our Super Bowl. We have everybody in, and I think it would be a mistake to do I'm glad they don't do it that way.
But anyway, it's the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. At least on paper, I think this looks like a kick-ass match in the making, because these two are on fire. I think Sasha's always good, and I think Bianca Belair I think they've actually done a surprisingly good job with her. Coming out of NXT, just doing her thing. I think that and the WWE's, I'd say probably if the WWE is guilty of anything right now, is that they have not been consistent with how they treat talent coming out of NXT. I would say probably, if anything else, they've been more consistently bad at booking really good talent coming out of NXT. And I get the sense that Bianca's one of those that they've been doing a really good job with. So I think that, Banks and Belair teamed up during the Elimination Chamber. They actually challenged for the tag titles, but they lost it because I don't know what you want to call Reginald. He's athletic. I've seen him do a lot of flip-de-doos and stuff and dance moves and everything else. He's kind of in this really weird spot, but he effectively he could be entertaining. He can definitely be funny. So but he interfered, and so I think that you know this matchup here is I think I don't know what else to say about it. I think the WWE's women's division has been pretty consistently strong, despite a lot of things that been happened during the COVID year, and continuing on into this year. I think overall, I would say that the women's division has been exceptionally strong, which again is something that I've said in the past, and I just here earlier in the stream that I think AEW hasn't done. I think I would say if you had to keep the men's divisions as they are, you could maintain pretty well, but they seriously need to bolster up their women's ranks. But anyway, with this matchup, I get the sense that this is gonna be a match to really show off what each of these wrestlers can do. Sasha is typically very consistent in all of her matches. Belair's on fire right now. To me, it's a toss up, but I'm gonna call Belair. I'm gonna call Belair here. I'm gonna say she's gonna win. I really have no specific reason to say
to go for it,
because I literally could flip the coin on this one. I think maybe if anything else, if I just kind of see it as an opportunity to put that belt on Bianca, and because I mean I could see it go so many ways, and I guess the other thing too is this is kind of where I haven't been paying as close attention to it. My understanding is they're both kind of face wrestlers right now. They've teamed up together, kind of in sort of, so I mean, Sasha is always Sasha's just like one like flick of her hair from a heel turn.
It depends on what color her hair is.
It's
pink,
yeah,
she's
okay,
good, and if it's blue, she's bad. I forget how that goes. No.
Yeah. So and Bianca's done both, so I think that it'd be curious to see if maybe even Bianca could win this, and maybe then it's like, okay, Sasha kind of just gets ticked off and attacks her afterwards and stuff like that. And I think this is, but overall, I think ultimately, I think that the fans are going to be who wins this one, because it's going to be such a damn good match regardless. But yeah, I personally am going to call Belair here just because, well, you got to call somebody. So I'm going to take Belair.
Gotcha. No, I actually really, really agree with it. It's going to be a heck of a match. And yes, if there's ever a group that is stronger, far, far, far superior, it's the women in WWE over AEW. No knock on any of them. No. They all are much harder workers than I'd ever be, and be able to do stuff that I could never do. So I'd be no slight at anyone. But in they're stronger in the ring. There's more polish. They're just better at what they do right now. That's the only way to say it.
Yep.
And leading that front would be somebody like Sasha. I mean, Sasha.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Sasha's awesome. So I will say this: when it comes to this match, there's somebody that's missing. I love my conspiracy and break out the foil hats.
Oh, sure.
There's someone that's missing. I don't think she's got a WrestleMania match anywhere. Where is Sasha's best buddy? Sometimes best buddy, sometimes greatest foe. Where's Bailey?
I think she has to. I think something's happening where she has to miss this.
Okay, does she? Okay, so she's really out. Okay.
I'm gonna double check this. I want to say I remember seeing something about.
I knew that. I knew Charlotte had gotten COVID. I knew that, but I haven't heard anything about Bailey. She was just not there.
WWE currently doesn't have any plans for Bailey. WrestleMania 37 and her fans are livid about the situation. Former SmackDown Women's Champion, one of the big stars. Okay. So I think this is leaning. Because what it was the headline for an interview where it was, Bailey talking about why she was out for WrestleMania 37. But I didn't read into it. So so basically this is at least aligning with your take on, kind of what you're asking here, because so basically what it's saying is that when here's what Bailey had to say about her WrestleMania status, the fact that WWE doesn't have any plans for the women's star. She just says, I can't give you an honest answer, dude. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. It just didn't happen. Even if there was something, I don't think I would tell you, as it would spoil it, but it's okay. I'll be here for a long time. So, in a way...
Yeah, that's an answer without an answer.
Exactly.
That's a very political answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that you might be onto something.
He's like, now reading that. So you said, yeah.
So she's not injured. There's no COVID related anything, supposedly. That's kind of where my mind first went, really, when they were just saying, like, Bailey discloses
and
why
I knew about
she's
Charlotte.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, even Charlotte, I mean, barring some, I'm saying basic, if it's a basic run of, I hate to say it like that, it's like it's belittling how serious it is. I don't mean it as such, but a normal run of COVID is what, 10 to 14 days. So,
right. Well, basically, what it is, it depends. Yeah, normal
even
run
she could be back
about 14 days. And you have to be, you have what you have, and then you have to be, I think you have to be isolated and like asymptomatic for like 14 days or something like that to be sure that you've kicked it, like truly kicked it.
Yeah, I thought it was something with, I know 10, I want to say it was something like 10 days you're no longer, and this is, of course, we're all still figuring it out. 10 days you're no longer, what am I blanking on? You can't pass it along to anyone else.
No longer contagious. Right.
Contagious, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Yeah, you're no longer contagious after 10 days. And then 14 days really to kind of get over it.
Yeah.
In a normal run of barring there being more to it. So.
And so I think it's, it kind of depends on the different, like, because I'm kind of going off of like our work protocols. Like, so if you test positive, basically you have to go 14 days of being asymptomatic.
Yes. Right.
So even
and I'm
if
thinking like other stuff and stuff like
I think like sure,
like
exactly. And then so I think it kind of just depends on the circumstances, and I mean, a situation like this, they have a lot more reason to, because I mean, I could be that's to be on site, like for my job, like, and so if I were to, I'm not even on site right now, so I don't have to really worry about it. And depending, I could be asymptomatic and effectively still I could be working. So they're not necessarily losing out on my, my productivity necessarily.
Your genius is what you were trying to go for there.
Well, I'm not trying to, but But I mean, but for something like a wrestler, you could see where there might be a bit more of even a more accelerated version of that. So, well, okay. So speaking of Charlotte, apparently there was also a mix-up. They had run like some tests or something on her, and they ended up getting a false positive pregnancy result on Charlotte.
I did hear about this. Yes, absolutely.
And so then there was this whole mix up with that, and then no, she wasn't, and it's just like, oh, good grief.
Yeah, can you imagine? That must have been a what now? Hey, you're pregnant. Oh, great. No, never mind. You know what? Skip that. Take all the stuff back.
Yeah.
Take all the stuff back to the store. Yeah.
Yeah, get that, take the registry off of Babies R Us, which I don't even think exists anymore.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Wherever they do baby registries now.
Amazon, I think everything's Amazon, isn't it?
I think pretty much. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Let's be honest. But again, so if you had to put a name on it, if you had to put a name on the win here, who do you think?
As I think it would be a great WrestleMania story to make it Bianca. Just because, and so the part of me that I'm going to filibuster for a little bit on it.
No,
but I'm not. I'm going to take it short here. I would like Bianca to win, but I think there's some shenanigans that are going to go on. I say Sasha wins.
Well, so when you were actually in a way when you were mentioning the whole Bailey thing. I was almost thinking like, but see, the thing is like, I could see those shenanigans going either way is part of my problem. Cause I could see Bailey come in and, effectively just it's like, I just don't like think about Sasha. I don't want you to have the belt, And so kind of coming in and then Belair's like not really involved necessarily. It's just Sasha going rogue, as she's been apt to do here recently. And so just, kind of saying, nope, Sasha, anybody but you. And then Belair being like, I'll take advantage of the situation. I'm not going to care. And, take the win. But at the same time, I could see it going completely the other direction. Which is the way
Sasha goes back to the dark side is sort of where I'm thinking.
And I kind of see that too. But yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines of Belair getting the win and then Sasha just wrecking her after the match. Like Sasha getting the win and then Sasha, gets pinned or whatever. She's not necessarily like knocked out completely. Sure. She kind of comes to or whatever, and then she's just, once she realizes what's going on, she just goes nuts and just freaking blindsides her and just wrecks
goes
her.
Off.
Yeah. So I think
the storyline. I don't think this is the funny thing, because I'm looking at the two matches that we've talked about. So the two title matches, two world title matches. I think one of them will be a feel-good WrestleMania story, and I think one won't. So
I see what you're saying. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I see. Well, see, that's the thing.
I don't think both will.
See, that's why I think Lashley's...
I don't think both won't.
I think Lashley's going to win that men's match, and then Belair wins the women's match. So I think it's going to be Lashley. It's going to be more of the negative, but I could easily see shenanigans of some form occurring in both.
Something going on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's well, that's what makes it interesting, right? It's what makes it,
absolutely.
And
so that's our first one. We actually are gonna go. I'll go with Sasha.
You're gonna go Sasha. I'm gonna go with Bianca.
I have trouble pulling against Sasha. So.
But again, like I could flip a coin like
absolutely.
10 times on this one because I can really see it going either way. I hate to say it, but definitely probably the first match I see that I can't find myself really giving a crap about. I'm just gonna be honest. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison.
Man, come on. You were just playing their release the other day. I heard you.
Hey, look, just because I think
I forgot what
somebody,
it's called, but
that song, that song off that album that he made that one time.
That you were playing the Miz and John Morrison. What they released just the other day on Raw.
Oh,
you know you were. Come on, man. Don't play. I'm gonna have to call you out on that. I know you've been.
Well, again,
you had that the whole time.
Just because I like somebody's music doesn't mean I think they need to be in a wrestling ring. And here's the thing. Here's the trick. I think that. Okay, so let me and Morrison. Okay, I'm just trying to jot this down so I got it together. Okay. I think John Morrison is actually one hell of a wrestler. I think that I don't like the fact that he's been coupled back with The Miz. I think in its own way, I think The Miz is holding Morrison back. I think it's kind of, we talked about this, it's kind of like the Sandow.
Yeah, I could see that.
Kind of deal. I think The Miz is a perfectly good kind of Weasley heel character.
He's also hurt right now too, though.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, Morrison is hurt.
Morrison is hurt. Okay.
Yeah, he had a bad knee. I don't know if he's back healthy yet.
And so
he, there for a while, was hurt.
Well, in that sense, it kind of makes sense to have it be the Miz and Priest in the ring more, where then Bunny and Morrison not as much to kind of help, because Bad Bunny's not a wrestler, so he's only going to be involved but so much with it. Although, I mean, he's done some dives. I tell you what, he did a better dive off the top rope than Snoop Dogg did.
Yeah, Snoop just landed. I mean, he was just.
But Snoop's also like 50 some years old.
Oh, absolutely.
And 7 feet tall, 35 pounds, and just doesn't need to. He doesn't have the right kind of frame for it. He's
no part of that.
He's actually, I mean, you can tell he's in really good shape. He'd make more sense as like a basketball player, than like a wrestler right now.
For sure.
So you could see, if Morrison is still legitimately, like not like legit, but still hurt enough to where they need to protect him a little bit, then you can kind of see where Damian Priest and Miz would get more of the minutes in the ring. Yeah.
Right.
And then have, Damian would have Bunny come in and, maybe do, a little, some tag move stuff and maybe get some shots in and then get back out again. Because, I mean, Priest is a beast. Damian Priest is a freak of nature, and he can move. He's again, he's also kind of,
he's one of those guys that just looks like he's a walking star.
Yeah.
Star in the making. Like, the only ones that can mess him up is the writers.
Oh, well, and there we go.
And don't get me wrong. Hey, I'm not saying I'm betting against them.
They will find a way.
They'll find a way. Life finds a way, and so do WWE writers.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like, do you even watch NXT? Do you even look at the product that they're putting forth? It's practically writing itself. And then, but no, that can't work, because then what would you get a paycheck for effectively? So they got to go and turn it around. But anyway, Priest's a star in the making for sure. He's got all the tools. He's got the athleticism. He's not terrible on the mic. He can throw like to me, he's a better version of Luchasaurus in AEW. Those are both big guys that do some of those like, you know, kind of karate like kick moves and stuff like that. But I think, and I'm a fan of Luchasaurus. I think he's actually a pretty good, solid wrestler. I think he's actually pretty smart. He's actually not bad on the mic when he, you know, when he does get on there. I mean, he does have a master's degree. But that's a gimmick.
Exactly, right.
It's a gimmick on being the elite. But I think actually technically it's true. Anyway, I think they're kind of in the same mode in the sense that they're big guys that do some of the karate type moves, roundhouse kicks and things like that, the more athletic type stuff. Damian Priest is just at minimum one step up.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least
Priest,
in terms of
he has,
just, you know.
He's not bad on the mic. He's not. He's like I said, he's one of those. The only ones that can screw him up are the people writing for him.
Yeah, he's legitimate in a way. You could see him be a contender. You could see him being at least in that
he's got
mix.
The height, size, speed,
athleticism
ability in the ring. He can talk on the mic enough to be able to. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And just the look is that look of legitimacy,
it's a total look and everything. Yeah.
So I think, again, this is one of those weird ones that's kind of hard for me to predict because, again, it could go so many different ways. You know, you could catch Bunny in the bad spot, pin him, and then you end up protecting everybody.
I don't think you. I see it the other way. I see this as a complete. There's utterly no way that you bring in a person from the outside that doesn't win. I say Bad Bunnies. Yeah, it may be close. It may be something. Hey, maybe there's a twist and Morrison break. This is where they break up. You know, who knows? But
that's another angle, and that's one of the ones I kind of thought about too. Whereas but I agree, though. I think that, I mean, I was just thinking like that'd be the only thing I could think of where I could say we're okay. But yeah, Bad Bunny gets the pin, but it's like, okay, you don't expect him to win it. Like you could see Damian Priest setting him up to get like the winning, like the pinning move, but he's not going to win the match for you.
Sure, he's not going to do all the fighting up until that moment. No, but he's going to be the. I think, again, he, like you said earlier, he actually looks, considering he's not a wrestler, he looks sort of comfortable out there. He was able to throw a punch that looked real.
Right.
And quite frankly, maybe it was. Maybe they were like,
it just didn't really hurt.
Just punch him. Yeah.
If your shoot punches hurt less than some other guys working punches, then what's the problem, right?
Just punch him. Okay. Yeah. It looked real enough. He looked solid enough. I don't think there's any reason for him to lose this match. The only thing about it, like, I could see a spin. I'm not really thinking that Morrison and them are. That was totally just off the top of my head. I don't think they're breaking that up. But there needs to be something to have this storyline continue past today. And I don't mean with Bad Bunny. He's, one and done. But I mean something with, is this a Damian Priest chance for him to get out? Something like that. Like there has to be more to this match.
I mean, again, I think if I had more faith, in the current booking right now, I would say I would agree. This is where you bring in the celebrity. It's a total win kind of thing, but also at the same time, I would use this as a vehicle to push Damian Priest to the moon, and just have it almost basically be in a way as kind of a handicap match, and basically have him just. Have him basically where he gets the beat down, He has the he gets the rise up and is able to come in, and then maybe you do like the hot tag to Bunny, who then maybe gets some moves off in the right sequence and everything else, and then is quickly able to bring Priest back in. And then, but yeah, it should be a way to showcase Priest and his moves and everything else, and just kind of really just help to push the very obvious optics that there's no reason why the Miz and or Morrison should really be able to handle this guy.
Sure.
And just push him to the moon. Now, saying that is the very reason why I'm unsure that Damian Priest is going to win.
Yeah.
Because
I was going to say, that you and I were both in the same point. When you got there, I was like, yeah. Ah, crap.
exactly.
No.
That's what I'm saying. It makes too much sense. So I'm worried.
Yeah.
But this guy should.
And WWE do love them some Miz.
Oh, I know.
If there was ever a homegrown guy. But to be honest with you, I honestly like Miz.
I'm neutral on him, I guess I would say. Probably like now. I think that again, I think he does a really good job for the type of character he's trying to portray, the type of, I think he's, if you've seen his journey from when he first came in and had such a hard time on the mic,
yes,
and everything, and the way he developed and what he's become, I mean, he's effectively, like, the story shouldn't work the way it did. You've got a guy who comes off of real world
TV.
road rules, old school MTV type stuff, and then decides he's going to be a wrestler, and it shouldn't have worked.
No part of it.
But he
and the only
made
reason
it
has,
happen.
Yeah.
He made it happen. He made it happen.
I mean, you remember when he first came in, he was terrible.
Oh,
and there was
God.
ever a guy that you can say truly homegrown. I mean, obviously all of them technically are homegrown, but there's something even more homegrown about Miz.
Yeah.
There's no indie wrestling. And not only, I mean, he's
no, it's all the WWE system.
Just, we saw him
mm-hmm.
as a rookie. We saw him where he would lose match after match because he was on, coming from, and they made him that he was the joke dude. He was that guy. And, that to now, meeting his now wife, and who was always great to see on TV. Always loved to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to now being one of the headline guys outside of wrestling, one of the people that may not watch wrestling go, oh yeah, I've seen that guy. I know who he is. That's the Miz.
Yeah.
That's it's amazing. So I always give him tons of credit.
Absolutely, and
that's just sheer determination.
I think that, and again, that's the other thing too. Is you always got to wonder about sort of the whatever kind of shenanigans might come through here. But I think. Yeah, I really think that this one is just going to be. I'm going to give it enough faith that at the very least, Bunny and Priest are going to get the win. But I'm still holding judgment on how well they book it. I think Priest is going to look good.
I think he's
in
gonna
this,
look good because he's just good.
Exactly. But it's not going to be. I'm not 100% convinced that it's going to be just out of sheer, good faith on the writing staff. The booking staff
just really get over and hit these spots and
and just whatever. Whereas I think that I'm sensing, I'm getting just the general sense that it's going to be okay. He's going to get the win. There's going to be something stupid happen.
Sure.
Somehow, some way, and it's not gonna be as good as it could be, just because that's the way this has to go down. It has to. So I'm saying Damian Priest gets the win, or at least
Gotcha.
Bunny gets the pin. But I don't know.
I mean, or maybe completely tinfoil hat here. Maybe Damian Priest is the one that turns. You know, they like grouping up random people just to break them up later. I don't see that. I don't
No,
see that.
not this pair.
Not for here.
Not
Yeah,
this
especially
pair.
because Damian Priest is just trying to make a name for it. So I don't see that. But
Not right now. I wouldn't be again. The bad
it's
writing.
just dumb enough to be a thing. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly. But I've gotta work off of some sense of logic here. I can't. I just
No, I'm with you.
my brain's too tired not to. So,
Yep.
but it is kind of bad too that we're thinking, okay, we've got, this like, it's WrestleMania. We shouldn't be assuming that the writing's going to be this damn bad or the booking's going to be this
talking
damn
about
bad.
writing.
Right.
We should not be talking
Exactly.
about writing at all.
Exactly. We should be
Period.
talking about the match. We should talk about the stories leading into it. We should be talking about all the
all
different
week.
details and all the different stuff. And then, speculate on maybe some twists and turns along the way. But right now, it's so
No.
hard. It is so hard. Because
No, I mean-
it's, especially as we start to get further down into the card,
Oh,
the
goodness.
writing really
Writing.
starts to just take a complete, they're getting all the drugs and not sharing it with anybody. I mean, in some cases with some of this stuff, I just can't even. Yeah. Okay. So, next match.
I was gonna say next match.
This one. So, are you still gonna say Bunny and Priest win this one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So next match is Cesaro versus Seth Rollins.
This could be match of the night or match of WrestleMania. I guess I should say.
It very well could be. It should be. On paper, it should be. Why am I not more excited?
Because the build-up has been goofy.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. I think that really goes with all of these. It hasn't. I mean, this whole match build-up has been off of getting Rollins being swung around. That's
right.
what the whole build-up for the match is. Will he be swung anymore? Okay, well, maybe.
Yeah. And he's got kind of. I'm trying to figure out his gimmick right now.
Got that drip, man. Come on. He's got that drip, which my son tells me is a good thing.
I
Yeah,
should know the term, but it's I'm just trying to figure out. He's like coming in, like telling the locker room to he's like to follow him into the future, and all this stuff, and that's how how Cesaro kind of got into the mix because he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever, and then puts him in the swing.
This is where we need that clip of "Get off the weed, man."
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
because
But on paper, these two guys going at it
in the ring
should be a freaking smoke show. This should be
absolutely.
an absolute
This should be a
knockout
clinic.
match.
This is how you're supposed to do this.
Yeah. And
how
if they
all
let these
wrestling is supposed to be
two,
happen.
they let these two go and do their stuff, then I agree. This definitely has the potential to be the match of WrestleMania, at the very least of this night.
Right.
I think that.
So,
Exactly. That's the trick.
who you got?
But that's what I'm trying to figure out here.
If there was ever a match that screamed WWE writing,
I think it's going to be Rollins. I think it's going to be it should be Cesaro, but it's going to be Rollins. Well, especially I think
Right.
with Cesaro, with the whole it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, there's been too much it hasn't been like 50-50 booking leading up to it. Cesaro's been punking out Rollins here, and it's gotten good, laughs and everything like that. I think it's kind of time to put a bit of an edge on this.
But that's what it is. It's been laughs and jokes.
Yeah. So I'm going with Rollins on this one. I think he might do something shady to get there, but I just think I don't know.
Of course, he's gonna do something shady. It's Rollins.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
He's trying to claim that new Mr. WrestleMania. Sorry, that's HBK's only. Yeah, he's trying to go claim that. I am going to say that it will be one of the guys that are wrestling in this match.
You are correct, sir. That
is employed by WWE. That is the guy that I believe it'll be.
Yes.
Yes, I am very going to continue talking like this until I can decide who that it will be at the moment, because I do know, of course, who that will be.
This is why he wanted me to pick first. That way,
yeah,
at least have that to go off of.
Hey, did you notice this mic? Can y'all see this mic here?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, huh?
So that's great. So next match, right? We were at the next.
We're still on Cesaro and Rollins.
Okay.
Yeah, you still gotta make your pick.
You had said Rollins. So, yeah. Well, I feel very strongly about this pick. Is really what it comes down to now. I'm gonna go with Cesaro.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Cesaro.
I mean, this one's one of those ones where
it should be Cesaro. It should
be, but the booking of it, the way he's been making Rollins look like a punk, that's the real reason why it's hard for me to say. Because it should have been more like 50-50 lead in up into it, or have it be like Rollins come in and really destroy Cesaro. Yeah, very, very quick.
Just like, oh, it's Tuesday. How about Cesaro? Yeah, we'll do that. We got a couple weeks, right? Yeah, okay, let's do that. Spin them around a couple times. That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, at the same time, to me, it's kind of also like I don't care really who wins this match.
Yeah.
But again, I do agree. I am expecting this to be, like I said, in the ring, at least leading up to whatever kind of wonky finish the writers come up with. Whatever kind of oddball run in. There's just as much of a chance.
Demands a run in, doesn't it?
I'm saying there's just as much of a chance of Gangrel coming out of the somewhere and just like why?
Shout out to Gangrel. Wow,
that's one of my boys. But I mean, just like as far as just like rando former guys, or because I'm trying to think about who would be like one who would be on deck to make some big return, and then why would they get involved in this? So they have to be someone who had like a history with, or had like some beef with Rollins. That would be the only thing.
Whatever happened with, maybe thinking it from this side, whatever happened with Rollins' henchman, APA, not APA.
Authors of
Pain.
Authors of Pain.
AOP. That's it. AOP.
I have no idea. I have no idea where they are right now. So that's a good point.
I think they left WWE, but I don't remember why or when, or I just remember they were gone.
We just don't have anything for you.
Yeah.
And again,
I just remember, maybe it was during that whole we kicked everybody out back, last year. When they fired a whole bunch of people.
They were released. They were released in September.
Time. Okay.
Now, granted, that doesn't mean that
Doesn't mean a thing really, as far
Not
as bringing it back.
necessarily. Not necessarily. Razor had gotten a torn right biceps. It basically took them off of TV for a while, and it was just one of those things where they probably they didn't have enough to.
Well, it's WWE. We
Do
cannot
with
pay
it.
you for these next 6 months, and when you get healed up, you can come back. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. And so I think that has as much to do with it as anything else. So, yeah, the potential to be really good. Yeah, so basically it was. I think it was ultimately Razor's injury that really just kind of put him through. So I don't see that one, but that otherwise that would be a good part, good kind of way to kind of do the story arc.
Because Rollins is kind of floundering right now. He doesn't exactly have a persona.
Well,
It's like he's transitioning personas.
Well, he's just getting back after the birth of his daughter.
Sure,
And
right.
so, and that's why, again, I think the timing of it sort of necessitated a bit of a kind of a quick sort of turnaround and everything. But still, I mean, it's just, it's a weird one. And it's like, hey, we're going to have you do this. And it's just like, okay, fine, whatever.
Let's dig in the bag. Magic 8 Ball says this.
Okay. So the next match, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Versus AJ and Omos, who is literally one of the biggest dudes I've ever seen.
And the
in
fact
wrestling.
that he's next to AJ, who's short, he's like my height.
Exactly.
So,
The
all of
stark
5'10".
difference. Yeah, exactly. And Almost has got to be around 7'1". He has got to be at least 7'1" and like freaking like 8-foot reach.
AJ
Grab
meets
somebody
him, I swear,
from
it's
the
like just above his belly button. It's below his pecs. It's seriously,
yeah.
It's below. It's like in this region.
Pull up a picture here. Almost. So first of all, no, I know, but like just some of the reach this guy has. So Tololoop Jordan Omogbian. He's Nigerian born American, professional wrestler, former basketball player. He's
No kidding.
He's 7'3".
Yeah, I thought he was over 7'1". He was definitely over 7 feet.
Oh, sure.
And he's a legit 7'3". Not either the Undertaker 7 foot, type of thing.
He lived in Chesapeake, Virginia for a bit.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah, man.
Virginia guy.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, the pictures are just worth 1,000 words. I mean,
oh sure, yeah.
Just the overall.
It's just massive.
Trying to find a good one, like a real good one. It's not quite, AJ is like the top of his hair is like basically aligned to, I think this is probably, I'm going to pull this up. So that people can really see this.
Yeah, there we go.
And that's with a hat on.
Right.
So you don't know how this, but still, I mean, I think he's like just above the dude's
And
pec.
is he standing though? Is he standing at this point? He's sitting.
Oh, I think he might be. I think he might be. Yeah, he and good grief, he and Truth are both. See, some of like the angles are kind of weird. Trying to find a good one. Yeah, I mean that's probably. And I think what's worse is when they're walking down the ramp.
Oh yeah,
and AJ's
because
up
it
front.
slants him. Yeah,
because
it
then
slants
it's
him even
like,
more.
yeah, exactly. But still, I mean, 5'10", a legitimate 5'10" to a legitimate 7'3". I think those are legitimate numbers on Omos here.
I mean, the moment that you saw him reach up in the ring, pull, was it who was it from New Day? Wasn't it from New Day?
It was. I think
New Day
it
at
was
the
either
time.
Kofi or Xavier.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, wasn't?
During was it the Royal Rumble? Where was it?
I thought it was the Rumble. 'Cause I thought we were watching it, and that's when we saw him.
Yeah, and he grabbed. I thought it was shoot not Xavier, not Kofi.
I don't think it was Big E, was it?
Yes, I thought it was Big E.
Might have been.
I swear it was Big E, and he reached up and grabbed him in the ring. And I mean, literally, he grabbed him from the floor. And
Yeah, he wasn't even lifting up his heels or anything.
No. He just walked and reached his hand up and pulled him out. Now, granted, I mean,
Oh,
there was
that's
the flip
right.
and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
because and
Yes.
then yeah,
Yeah, it was Big E. Okay, I was pretty sure I remembered it.
Damn.
Was, yeah,
that just makes it even more impressive. I mean, that's just. I mean, AJ. Yeah, so Perry is almost a weird one. Cleared this duo's found a way to make things work. Almost not official entry in this year's Rumble. He helped AJ Styles, saving him from elimination a few times. Eliminating Big E and Rey Mysterio. Almost pie facing Big E after eliminating him. Maybe a sign at 8 that WWE's trying to find a way for Styles versus Big E. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so, but yeah, and then just the hand and just this is an impressive looking dude, and he doesn't look like. I mean, he doesn't look lanky.
No,
at all. You know, this guy.
No, he's a very filled out. Usually, if you bring basketball players in to wrestling, I mean, we've seen it in the past with like Karl Malone, who we would think in basketball terms was a big, heavy.
Oh yeah, he was a truck.
Power bruising.
Yeah.
And he got in wrestling, and he was like the skinny. He was skin and bone compared to wrestlers. So
yeah.
This guy, I'm completely with you.
He's listed at 335.
Yeah.
So I believe that's at least pretty dang close. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, I think to the match, I mean, let me double check. So New Day gained the tag team titles, Hurt Business on Raw. Shortly after Styles, Muscle were out challenge. New Day quickly accepts its mark in-ring debut almost. Now I'm trying to remember here. Is this going to be? What version of New Day is this going to be?
Kofi and Xavier.
Oh, so so they're not going to have Big E officially in the match.
I don't believe so. He hasn't been, because technically they're not on the same.
They're not on the same show. Right.
Yeah,
not to say since it's WrestleMania that he won't get
Well,
involved.
not to say that show stuff even really matters, because random people show up random times.
That's true too. It's just more of a suggestion. It's just kind of
it was a thing for like 5 minutes, and then they were like, you know what?
Yeah. Like ratings aren't
whenever any old time. So,
the ratings aren't impacting the way we really hoped they would. So we're just gonna put you back together.
Right. Yeah, for one night only. This night,
right? Every other night,
more night,
every other night after that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think. Do we really think that AJ Styles and Omos are going to get the belts here?
You want me to pick first?
Sure. Since I picked first on the last one.
All right. Yes, I think they're going to.
You think they're going to get the belts?
Yeah, I do. I think they're going to try to build almost whatever his name is up. And AJ is a perfect mouthpiece for him. He probably doesn't talk real well yet. Yeah. I'm thinking sort of along the lines of Shawn and Diesel.
Oh, it's very much that. So I think, and you know what? I think because it's the New Day popular enough, they don't need to have the belts.
No,
I
they've
think,
graduated into that. We're just that good.
and I
They've
think
moved on,
that with
transcended.
the belts, it gives AJ enough reason to start to show his ass a little bit.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
especially if I could see it where it'd be one of those things where almost is kind of the one that really kind of finishes things off, but then AJ forces him to make a tag so he can get the pin,
Right.
you know, kind of thing, and just so. Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I think that because what else is because in a way, what else is it gonna like? How else do you
What's the point otherwise?
carry this along?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I'll agree on this one. I was trying to figure out a way to kind of switch it. The only other thing I was thinking here was maybe some involvement from Big E, but you know,
But that if you have an interference, that usually makes you the bad guys, and his New Day.
kinda. Well, not so
New
much a
Day.
bad guy. I think the big thing here is just sort of the payback from Rumble.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I think there's that
Mhm.
piece. I don't know. I don't remember if that receipt's been cashed in. I don't think it has. Because
Does
almost
Big E have a
hasn't.
match? That's another guy.
Let me
Does
look.
he have a match?
Let me look.
I can't remember.
Yes,
Yes,
well,
he
that's
does.
right
He has
because
Apollo
he's
Crews.
he's the Intercontinental
He's
Champion.
the Intercontinental Champion. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean but that's on night 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean he necessarily doesn't come in.
Isn't gonna
But-
appear right.
Necessarily, but even if he does, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win because they're not going to cheat. It's not going to be a cheat kind of thing. It's more
No.
going to be a okay, they're kind of maybe kind of getting fed up, more kind of a save the day kind of move kind of thing. You know, just if Almost, especially in AJ, they're you know between the size of Almost and Dirty Tricks and all that stuff, and maybe something along those lines. You could see him maybe kind of coming out and helping out his buddies or something.
Gotcha.
But not more from a you know, not really a cheating per se, kind of thing. So I think but I think the only thing that really, and again, putting a lot of faith in the writing here, I think the only thing that makes
luck with
sense
that.
for this is for AJ and Almost to take this, because again, I think
agree.
they need to do something to add a little bit of legitimacy to Almost, get him, and then have a good reason for him to be in the matches as opposed to just on the you know, at the bottom, you know, just kind of hanging out. Whereas like now, if
Right,
AJ's
just a
doing
distraction.
single runs,
Sure.
you know, there's no real reason for Almost to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
But now if they have a tag belt run, then that gives more reason for Almost to actually be in the match. And so that, I can see it. So
Yeah.
next one, the penultimate match, as it were. Again, depending on the order of this, I really doubt this is the order of the listings, but
Sure.
the next one in the list is Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman. This is a steel cage match.
Yeah.
Again, this is where I was talking about the booking really, just the writing really going sideways. I don't understand this storyline at all. I do not get what in the heck is going on with this.
I don't think it's all that funny.
No.
It's not. I mean, who cares? I just don't care. I don't kind of care.
I know.
I just don't kind of care.
And I mean,
And Shane is borderlining with me with some X-Pac heat. Like he doesn't seem to do his. It's like he doesn't take it seriously, or if he does, he just doesn't care. One of the two. Like I just can't. If you watch him doing his line, he gets out there and he doesn't seem all that interested. So why should I be?
And he's like,
And
and then the whole coupling with Elias and Jackson Riker.
it's weird.
I mean, like now Elias and Riker together as a tag team makes sense.
Sure, fine.
I could see
I'm with
that. But then
what's
aligning
Shane
themselves
for?
with Shane with it, and again, it's one. But also, I mean, it'd be one of those things where it could work. It could have been done better. It just wasn't. And then this whole like calling Strowman, like calling Strowman stupid, like this
I
is.
don't get it.
It's wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's
there are very few Mick Foley's and
massive dude who just destroys things in the right context. When the writing's correct, he just destroys things. So
again,
he doesn't need to be smart. He's never really played himself out to be like like eloquent or anything like that.
yeah, he's not over there trying to break out old Raven quotes and stuff.
No. And it's just, and why, I mean, Shane, really, why are you?
Shane is it's rough. It's rough watching everything with, and Shane used to be a lot of fun. He really did. I don't know where that went. I don't know if he just got hit in the head at some point. I know he had some off outside of WWE things happen, like legitimately happen to him.
Sure.
I don't know if that stuff has affected him in some way. I'm not making fun of it. If it did, hey, that's horrible. But he's just not.
Well, I kind of almost wonder how much of this is sort of just a bit of that. Does he have a little bit too much of Vince in him? Because, I mean, it's just sort of this. It's kind of like when he was younger. And again, yeah, he would. I mean, Shane's at least to some extent has proven his mettle in the ring.
Sure.
Especially with a lot of the stuff that he back in the day, though. Now he's older. He's, I highly doubt he's really able to do even the stuff that he was able to do back then, and so.
But even his mic work is different. His mic work back then wasn't great. In fact, sometimes it was bad, but it was bad in a I'm green kind of thing.
Yeah,
as opposed
to
just being bad.
Now it's just being bad. Yeah,
you clearly see him looking for his line. He gets out there and he's now Braun. You can see. I mean, clearly, just right there on your
and
hand,
I wonder. And again, the other thing that would be weird is like, if it was anyone other than Shane McMahon, I would wholly blame the writing. But it's Shane McMahon, and if he didn't like the writing given to him,
he would have it changed.
Exactly.
Right.
So
absolutely.
So what?
Try again, or you're fired.
Exactly. Well, I'm just going to go out there and say my own stuff, and
I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Or act like I forgot it and ride off on my scooter.
I'm.
So let's get by. Let's get by this match.
Dude, I'm calling a pass on this one. I can't.
Okay, Braun's gonna win. Anybody not think Braun's gonna win? I mean, Braun's gonna win. Let's move on. All right.
We're gonna say Braun. Like I said, the only thing I can think of again is Elias and Riker, but you got the steel cage in the mix. It's
steel cage. Are they really gonna let the bully? I don't know. That's
the thing.
They're appealing to the 5-year-olds, so
that's
what WWE
you would hope so.
likes to do these days. So
you would hope so. You would hope so. Yeah. All right, I'll agree with Braun, but really deep down, I just can't bring myself to care.
I don't care. Yeah. So Braun or I don't care.
All right, last match listed, and you can tell why. Because again, I think this was more in order of kind of general importance because
Is this the 900 people match?
exactly.
Okay,
This
all right.
is Naomi and Lana versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke versus the Riot Squad, and I can't even remember who's in there anymore, versus Natalia and Tamina, tag team
Nobody's
turmoil. Like why? How the winners earn the right to challenge the WWE tag team champions
the next night.
the next night. And so and they have it as like TBD. Like seriously, this is one of those matches that now again, speaking to the women's division here, it's not that I don't necessarily have such a serious problem with any of the individual women
The funny
in these
thing
matches.
is, if you put any of those teams over at AEW, they'd be the top. They'd be the top draw.
Oh heck yeah! Or just have it be like a straight up I'd rather see this split up into 2 tag matches, not this.
Yeah.
This a tag team turmoil with top if you think like top men's wrestlers from back in the day that were like $1 million draws. This type of thing. I mean, I'd almost rather see more like a Survivor Series type match.
Again, there's
than
no reason.
this.
There's no build up. This was I mean,
It's
if you
all
watched
just
SmackDown last week,
yeah.
it was just, and now some other people are running in, and they're on Raw, but it's SmackDown, and so they're running in.
It's lazy writing. It's at its core, it's lazy writing. I couldn't even begin to tell you who. All I can say is that the team that wins this one is a team that was basically booked to be slated to go up against Baszler and Nia Jax the next night. Literally, that is it, and I could not possibly tell you who that is.
So. No, nor can I.
But
no, any of these, which makes a glaring hole. Then,
yeah,
do any of these teams? I mean, I like Mandy Rose. I like her to be on TV. It's good to see Mandy at all times. Hi, Mandy. But
how you doing?
But how you doing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But. I mean, are any of these teams I don't know how to say it nicely, but there's no nice way to say this. Are any of these teams WrestleMania headlining people?
Not at this stage. Not at this stage. No.
Sure.
You can make an argument for Natalia. Make an argument for Naomi. In certain respects, you can even make,
but they're not together.
Well, that's what I mean. Exactly. I think if it was Natalia and Naomi, if it was Natalia and Naomi together, I'd probably go with them.
Okay, sure. Lana, I don't know where that whole. I don't know what they're doing there. I mean, again, nice to see her.
Sure,
but it's yeah, I don't. But it does beg the question. Going back to one of our first matches we talked about with Sasha and all that. We know a reason that one person isn't there, or at least hasn't been scheduled to be there. Who's to say that there's maybe another tag entry?
Oh God, I hope not.
Mandy and Dana Brooke, remember them making fun of Charlotte? Or not making fun of her, but telling her like, we're tired of seeing you. We see you all the time. You should give other people a shot. Now, granted, at the time they were talking about the WWE or their women's championship at the time, and then suddenly just they got grouped together and thrown into this match.
Right.
But I mean, what if Charlotte comes out with a tag team partner?
I'd almost rather see her come out.
Go ahead.
So first of all, you don't even have any more ring posts to put another team in the mix. You already got 4,
That's true.
right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
just from the logistics standpoint of it, it would really make that impossible. But also,
maybe a run into
I think
mess
I could see more
from the
maybe
outside.
like a singular Charlotte kind of run-in kind of thing to maybe mess it up. It's like, oh, she wasn't supposed
Sure.
to be here, and like, okay, like she didn't quite like completely clear to Russell or whatever yet, or for whatever reason. But it's like, okay, she can kind of come and do some interference. But again, I think this match is gonna be such
Train
a
wreck.
fustercluck as it is, because that's just the way these matches set up. I
Yeah.
again, I think there's going to be enough mayhem in this. I mean, it's called tag team turmoil. It's just going to be enough madness going on in here. You know, you might as well. I almost want to like, does the tag team rules? Is it something where it's more like a legitimate kind of? Do you have 4 women in the ring at the same time, and then they can tag in
Almost
their
have to,
partner,
don't you?
and then
Actually, I
don't.
don't remember that being that. Other matches like this, I remember 2 people start, 2 teams start, or not 4 in the ring, but 2 people from 2 teams, and they can basically tag in anyone.
Anybody or get tagged.
Or get tagged. Right. But that might have been a different match. That's what I have in my head. But now that you say that, to be honest with you, I wouldn't bank on what I just said. That was just more of a kind of thought at the moment.
I think I saw it. So tag team turmoil, another version of elimination tag match. 2 teams start, and then one is eliminated. A new team comes to the ring. Oh, until all teams have competed. The remaining team is the winner. Teams may either make their entrance from backstage one at a time when it's their turn to wrestle, or particularly if the match
So they're
consists
not
of
all
4
out there at the
teams,
same time.
all occupy. Well, now, okay, particularly if the match consists of 4 teams, all occupy a corner each at the start of the match, waiting for their turn. So they could all be out there, but it's like basically
like
you have
lumberjacks.
2 teams starting, and then it's an elimination.
That's kind of what I remembered. Yeah, it seemed like I had that
So
in my head. That they
what
were
it
doing
yeah,
something
and
like that.
so you could have all 4. I get the feeling they're going to just have all 4 out there in their respective corners, and I don't know how they'll decide it, but they'll have 2 teams start, and then it'll work out. Well, it'll be curious to see. It'll be curious to see. But either way, it's just it's still just lazy booking at the having all these teams. Oh, we can't figure out who to have, so we're just going to have them all go, and it's a be a freaking rummer roll, and we're gonna that way we're really gonna kind of obscure who's gonna be the one to go against Baszler and Jax. So that's night 1. And yeah, okay. So I at least said Braun Strowman on this one. I am completely taking a pass on this one. I don't know, and I don't care.
So all right, let's put a bow on this particular match. I'm not even gonna put it. I hate to do that. I'm not even gonna type that part in. So yes, just because I have to pick someone. I mean, I'd like it to be Mandy because then she'll be on TV more, but she's not going to be there. Lana and Naomi.
That's if I had to pick, that would be my pick.
Yeah,
that's
fine. That's probably who I'm
fine.
going with.
Because I really don't know who.
Yeah, that's not. It's too many moving parts on that one. I will
But
say,
you also had the
say
story
one thing.
from Lana with Nia Jax and Shayna before too. Remember we had that whole thing where they made her stand onto the side
And
of the Rumble or whatever it was,
She-
and
She was
Yeah.
getting bullied. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they go that route, it's WrestleMania. They like their feel good moments. Maybe in the end, Lana
Get
gets
her.
the belt for the first time. Yeah.
Maybe.
They like that kind of thing.
So I can at least
Um,
see that. Otherwise, it's kind of I don't see a real story beat.
No, as much as I'm joking about, it's not Mandy and Dana Brooke. Like that
No,
makes utterly no sense. The Riot
no.
Squad, why? They just showed up. They were off TV, then they're back up. Okay, sure. I mean, Tamina and Natalia are both known. They might be the most known of anyone in this group, aside from Naomi. But no.
Yeah,
Lana's the only one that
they'd
makes.
be the only other ones I would halfway think of. Just I mean, again, kind of looking at it from some sense of legitimacy, I could see the two of them having some kind of actual chance of like legitimately going up against Baszler and Jax.
Right.
You know, they're just strong enough and seasoned enough and pedigree and all that, you know. So you could see that aspect of it, but I think the better story is seeing Naomi and Lana going up against them and seeing how it goes. I tell you, so I'm actually
Do
gonna.
we want to do night 2 tonight, or do we want to do that tomorrow?
We could do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that because that way, it's already midnight here, which means like 2 a.m. there. So
Here.
yeah, and that
I didn't mean
way,
it from that perspective. I was meaning more from night 1, night 2.
well, there's that part of it, and also I think the fact that we're not going to know who is going to be in this women's tag team championship match yet. I'm sorry.
Right.
So there'd be really no way but otherwise right on paper without seeing that match and seeing who wins and everything like that. My bet's on Jackson Baszler anyway, but
Sure.
and then you get like Riddle and Sheamus. I really just think it depends on how high Riddle is.
But we'll jump into that.
We'll jump into that tomorrow.
For sure. Yeah. I will say there's one other person that I have forgotten. Maybe she doesn't show up at WrestleMania. But we were talking about when we got to talking about Seth Rollins.
Right. Yeah.
His return. And how he had to be out because of his first child. The person that actually had the child.
Mama Bear. Yeah.
Who actually did the hard work there.
Or excuse me, let me say the man.
Yeah, right. The man.
Very
confusing in this situation. The man that had the baby.
Yeah. That's the only thing you can really say with a straight face in terms of wrestling.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't see a spot for her to come in. I mean, maybe that title versus if there's somebody that runs in.
You could see her maybe after one of the matches where it's like she comes out from like gorilla, to the ramp
position and
just kind of hey, I'm back.
By the way, that's mine.
Exactly. That kind of move. I could see that.
I never lost it. It's
sure.
Mine.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if she, or they might honestly, quite frankly, they might just hold her out until the Raw after WrestleMania. That's always
there's that too, because I would you'd have to.
I would almost do that, to be honest with you.
Because I tell you what.
That would be the one right there.
Seeing her going against Rhea Ripley, have Ripley win it, and then Becky come out,
walks out.
That would be
that's mine.
Yeah.
But I see that being the next night. I could see.
Yep.
I could see that being the next night. They let Rhea bask in the glory. No pun intended. Speaking of, where is he?
I don't know. Okay, and again, you want to talk about like bad
booking
bad
repeatedly.
booking, just not. Yeah. Anyway, so I think I think it'll be good because I think we'll have a better sense of. And it's what time does this start?
I want to say 7.
7 your time, 5 my time. I think you're right. Yep. So, the main show will begin at 8, but the kickoff starts at 7. So I think yes, the main stuff it'll start at 8. So 8 your time, 6 my time.
Gotcha. Are we gonna do a live reaction?
I don't know if I'll be able to be honest with you.
I was gonna say
probably
it's a day for you on a Saturday.
Yeah, like dinner, and I think we might even have something going on. So I'll probably have to catch this after and like before stream, and just maybe kind of I'll probably have to maybe fast forward through some of the bits of it just to kind of catch some of the main beats tomorrow. And then we can, and then at least definitely enough to be able to catch the gist of what's happening, which I'm fine with. Be able to, see, and then we can then take what we know from this and then see what we think about night 2.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, I'll probably be able to start it closer to 7 my time. So maybe kind of catch it in the hour and fast forward through it. And some of these, I definitely got enough things I can fast forward through.
Right.
Depending on when some of these things hit, like that. Yeah,
just
this right here.
Make sure you catch every bit, including the like backstory and everything.
Right here.
For that Shane versus Braun. Make sure you get all of that. So
yeah, I plan on it. That's yeah.
I figured you would. So
I'm gonna be all over that one, man. Yep. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah. But overall, hey, WrestleMania's tomorrow.
Yeah, WrestleMania weekend. It's truly a weekend.
Yeah, it's truly a weekend now. So
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. But all right, well,
all right, dude.
Until tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Everybody hopped on. Thanks for hopping on. If you catch this later, thanks for watching that. And again, catch us back tomorrow. Probably about. I'd probably say kind of somewhere around 11-ish Eastern time, kind of the usual deal. 9 p.m. if you're in the boonies in Idaho like I am, or Denver or other places in the mountain time zone. So yep, otherwise have fun watching WrestleMania, and we'll catch back with you tomorrow.
All right.
Getting work, signing off.